Y'all ready for this?
Can you spot the differences in this intro? Because I spent about an hour, hour and a half on it the other day. Some tweaks, some twinges, some insertions, some deletions. Let me know in the comments, guys, what changed. Also, welcome to the Danger Zone. Let's hit this intro, and while you're at it, spike that like.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. We can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride.
Bam! Put your seatbelt on. You're in the danger zone. What is up, Murph? Welcome in, YouTube. Spike that like.
What's going on? What's going on? It's another feel good Friday, as our as old Pat McAfee would say on his show. Man, I'm excited. It's going to be a good night. We got a little something planned. We got a little brewski in the cooler beside me, so we're ready to roll, man.
Hell yeah. How was your week, Murph? Before we get into it, I like to start with the personal stuff, get that off the table, and we'll get into it. But how was your work week, brother?
Long. It's always long, man. A lot of hours. I had a flat tire on the trailer today, the work truck trailer, and that held me up. And then I don't know. It's the first week coming back from vacation is always it's always a tough one, you know. But you kind of get back and you dive back into the pool, right? It's cold when you get in, like you ain't been in it, and then you're in it for a few minutes, and then it's all right. So next week will be okay. We'll be fine.
Did like I worked full time for 20 years so far. Actually, the last year and a half is the only time I really didn't. But getting back on the horse. But the best part of working full time is, you're right, man. When it's like muscle memory again, you're just literally 40 hours feels like 25, depending on the job. Could feel like 75, but I don't know. I like jobs fast paced because the hours just melt away. And seems like you have one like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just be mindlessly zombie working, and it'll be like the last time I checked my phone or the time, it was like 10 o'clock a.m. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's 5 p.m. Like, what the hell? What happened?
You said mindlessly what?
Just mindlessly working, just a zombie, just doing the zombie thing.
Hey, it's a banger, man. It's a banger.
It is. It's an absolute banger, guys. The little inside story there is like I popped in early for once. Like I popped in and Dane's in here, doing his little production thing, and he's just got Zombie playing, and I'm like, I don't even know the band that's doing it because I know it's been covered a couple times. It's not the Cranberries, it's not Bad Wolves or whoever they were, but I'm like, who the hell is they? And so I didn't say anything at first. I just jammed with him for a little bit. And then I was like, all right, who the hell is that, Dane? And he's like, oh, that's my buddy in the shower.
By the way, you're right. Definitely a what's that called? Like personal production of the song. Shout out Joe Turbulam on Twitter, man. He does little acoustic shows on there and gave me permission to grab a clip or two. I wanted to play it briefly here because I'm very curious whether YouTube will flag it, and I need to figure shit like that out before I get to 500 to 1,000 people in here, subscribed or whatever. Because right now they're lenient on me, but they'll at least tell me what I'm doing wrong. So played out a little bit, but we also worked it in because, like you said, you like mindlessly zombieing away, and that was just perfect, brother.
I actually did not think that through beforehand.
I wasn't sure because, like, I don't know, maybe we just put that word in your head and it, but anyways. Yeah. We have a guest. Do you want to tell the people about that, brother?
Yeah. We have a special guest tonight. One of my favorites, a repeat offender. And 3 strikes, you're out, dude. I'm telling you, like, you better be careful when you come in here in the danger zone. But yeah, we're gonna have a little football talk. We're gonna have a little debating, and one of my favorite people to debate with, the legend himself, Abby's all over it, James Wudi. Wudi, rocking I gotta say it every time.
I guess I gotta do this. Hold on.
That makes me want to play ball.
Hey, we are back in the danger zone. My God, my favorite place to be. I have absolutely no promises in terms of that 3rd strike. That might be putting me away for good after tonight. I don't know.
Brother, you're an awesome guest because not only do you spit your takes, oftentimes ones I don't personally agree with, but you back them up. But also when you come into the danger zone, you feel the vibe, man. You're chill vibe. You got maybe a brew or something. Just talking ball, man. Friday night,
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I mean, Dane, you said the B word, so okay, all right. I mean, I guess if you're gonna twist my arm, man, you're gonna twist my arm. All right.
I'm already looking for strikes, so I might as well throw a few more up there. Dude,
I was getting forced on live.
While you guys are here in the chat, man, thank you for joining us, man. Men, women, as Murph would say, fellas, fellettes. Saw Abby down there. Awesome that she found us, man. As Abby. My camera's focusing here. I do want to get into the debate stuff. I want to explain it. I want you guys to choose kind of the structure. I do have materials for it. But before I do, there's one thing we got to get out of the way. And say what you will about it. It is definitely news. Let me do this here. There you go. Perfect.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
For real, he is the cap. Nothing but love, nothing but respect for our God. I wish he was still on the team right now. I was furious when they cut him. and I wish him well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I love me some CJ Mosley. I've been spitting this for years. I've been one of the biggest reasons, aside from the fact that I'd like to actually root on a team that wins things, is the fact that I wanted CJ Mosley to win with us, because he has said from the beginning he wanted to be part of the turnaround. He wanted to be the spark that ignites the flame that turns into our bonfire that we dance around and have beers around, and somebody falls in drunkenly at some point. But that's okay, because he didn't condone that. He just gave us the heat and gave us the flame. That's all. But
I mean, we still trying to find that flame. We got nothing.
There's that. Nobody wants the flame anymore. They got vapes and stuff.
You know what I want to say though? Like, dude, I feel bad for him, man. Like, that defense was way good enough to make playoff runs, and God, dude, he had Zach Wilson, and then he thought he got rid of Zach, and then Zach came back, and it's like wasted, like, that series back in the day, or I don't know if they're still doing it, like Missing Rings or something. Like, I feel like maybe not a full-on missing ring was there, but like low-key a minor possibility was there, and we won 7 games. 7 fucking twice.
If you think about it, like, and this, I'm not going to delve too much into the whole thing, but like, CJ Mosley was the captain of at least 2 or 3 years of elite defense, like at least 2. The pieces were in place, like, and then there was some talent on the offense and stuff too, and and it's just like it boiled down to 2 things: coaching and Zach Wilson. If you think about it, like, dude, if it was just like erase all the quarterbacks that came out of the draft that year and give us a whole new set of new guys, and like we hit on one of them instead of it being Zach Wilson, like let's say it was like a Jaden Daniels or something of the ilk, we very well could have made a playoff run, man. And just looking back at it is like, I don't want to say that Saleh and Joe Douglas knew what they were doing, although I kind of think Joe Douglas did know what he was doing a little bit. But they did have like the layout right, but they didn't have the centerpiece of the layout right, and they weren't pulling the right strings from the outside of the, but whatever. I don't know. We're not going to reminisce. And
dude, yeah, we need.
If I could just say one thing though, just one thing. I agree pretty much wholeheartedly with everything you said, Murph. Obviously, Zach Wilson wasn't the guy. This is something that I used to get a lot of pushback on back in 2021. And then all of a sudden this past season, I have no idea why, people started texting me being like, "Ooh, maybe you were right." But I never thought that they should have got rid of Sam Darnold. And if you look back to the reports of that time, Mike LaFleur accepted this job expecting Sam Darnold to be the quarterback that he was working with. So I do think, we're talking about bizarro worlds, one of those bizarro worlds where we wouldn't still be in this playoff drought. I think just simply, trading back that pick and having Darnold, Mosley, the defense, the elite defense, right? I think we would have been able to make something happen. But like you said, Murph, it's all coulda, woulda, shoulda. So on to the next.
And getting rid of LaFleur was a mistake too. I'm just gonna put that out there. But
let me ask you this: is LaFleur more creative? Is he more deadly with Sam Darnold running it back, or with a rookie Justin Fields in that year?
I would say Sam, just because like Sam has the experience. Like he's, he can. You don't have to worry about all those rookie mistakes and all, just all that acclimation, I would say.
Dane, there may not be as much debate on the quarterback as what you were thinking there might have been. I have a feeling. But we'll get to that in a little bit. We deviated, we digressed. That's the word I was thinking of. We digressed. We somehow we went CJ Mosley, and then we're talking about Mike LaFleur. So that's what happens on the show. But we still get some good ball talk in. Dane, do you want to explain to the fellas and fellettes in the audience what we're doing, or do you want me to do it, or what's up?
How about this? Let me start with the premise, kind of what I had vision, and then like the little things you guys can tweak as you do it, or if you see something ahead of time, just spit it, right after me. Basically tonight, like there's a lot of talk. Is this team better than a year ago, basically? And I really don't like that, because like a year ago is like, they're years into it. They've built it themselves. They're win now. So like what I wanted to do was kind of a portrayal of this week one team we're expecting to have versus the end of last year, or like towards the end when it was like, because that's what we witnessed, man. That was the team that we got. It wasn't the team that we saw a year ago on paper that Mike Clay of ESPN had favored to win 15 of 17 games. That's not what we should compare this team to. I think we should compare it to the 5 freaking win team that we saw on January 1st. How that manifests, however you guys want to, like your scale of, oh, well, our receiver group now versus 6 months ago, they had Devon, however you want to justify it is up to you guys. But I'm going to kind of hang back and I'm going to put the offense all on the screen. You guys can check it, say you want to start with the receiver group. I'll put 6 months ago up. You can look at that, and then I'll flip and show you it now, and then you guys can kind of hash it out while I'm doing that, and then we can go to running backs, and I'll just keep tick marks, hey, and then at the end you can say, hey, 10 out of 18 spots better this year, and then that doesn't mean it's definitely better, but then you can kind of hash it out some more. I think it'll be fun exercise, but like I said, like Murph said, there might be something he foresaw that might, go ahead, Murph. I'm rambling.
So, okay. I was thinking about it, and as much as Wudi is not afraid to speak his mind, even though it may go against the grain, I'm also in that rowboat. So sometimes me and Wudi do agree on things. Actually, a lot of the times. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this to me if you want or not, Wudi, but even if I agree with you, I'm going to give you some points and play the devil's advocate as to why you could be wrong, or we could be wrong if we agree on it. That way we can maybe just get a little debate in there and just see, just try to look at things from other perspectives, because that's just a thing that you should do in life anyway. Like.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Let me just throw it up there, and I'll mute. However, if you guys need me, just say my name and I'll unmute. But I think it'll be easier to see once I do this. So hold on. All right. So as you can see here, this is New Year's Day edition of the Jets, and you guys can even discuss coaching then versus coaching now. But I think Murph mentioned to me, if there's a significant player that was down this 1 week, they may not, I think Murph, who was it? Left tackle.
Left tackle, Max Mitchell is who they have as the starter. Obviously, we're not going to consider that the starting left tackle of the bulk of last year's team, right? So, and if we see something, we'll point it out and let the audience know. Let me and Wudi both know. That way, we're all on the same page here with that, because we don't want to deviate from the strength of last year's team. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
We'll point those things out as we go. But this is just kind of a general overview, so me and Wudi can That way we're not forgetting about any players or anything like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, we can I would imagine we're taking, or are we doing that like position by position, or is it like groups, like wide receiver room? You know, like are we grouping like the whole old line, or like going position by position?
Whole yeah, whole rooms. Well, I was thinking we could do like tackles and then interior offensive
Oh,
line.
okay, yeah, I like that. I like
Because
that.
that's how you're going to do the defensive line. You're going to do edges and then interior defensive line. So I think that maybe, you know, um, yeah, that's what we'll do. And then like for wide receivers, we'll just do wide receivers. We're not going to split up slot and things like that. Trying to think if there's
Well,
anything else. Secondary, we will split up corners and safeties into separate groups,
okay.
and we might do the coaches. We might do the coaches, but we'll save
Well,
that.
I don't think coach, because clearly, like, and this is why, to an extent, like this, you know, I don't think that the roster that we're looking at right now, that's on the screen, is a 5-win roster. I know they won 5 games, but they didn't have a coach. Like Jeff Ulbrich is not a coach. Is not like right. He's not a coach. They were kind of thrust into this situation. So, coaching, it's literally a coaching staff versus, you know, a dumpster fire. So, I wouldn't even say, you know, there's a coaching staff to compare.
Can I chime in real quick here?
Yeah.
Sorry. The only thing I would say to sorry, I don't know why I'm huge here, but the only thing I would say is like we fell into that trap last year of looking great on paper. I don't want this to just be a paper, oh, Devontae, or like Aaron Rod. Don't judge Aaron like he's a GOAT. Judge him how we got him. How we got him last year over the average game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I feel you.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the wide receivers just because Yeti already said something about the wide receivers, and allow me to wholeheartedly agree. I know you said we're gonna play devil's advocate from time to time, but I'm devil looking mighty lonely right now. I don't know what advocation you can make where Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard was actually, you know, also scoring touchdowns. That trio was looking filthy. You know, one of the few teams in the entire league, I want to say there was 4 teams that have 2 1,000-yard receivers. I can bet you my bottom dollar that is not happening this season. It's not. I don't care who you want to throw in there, who you want to hype up. Ooh, Arian Smith is having a good camp. I don't care what you say. There's no way that this year's receiving core is producing 2 different 1,000-yard receivers. Last year's did. It's not even close. But, you know, if there's an argument to be made, Murph might make it. You might make it.
Okay, Wudi. So there's always an argument to be made, buddy. Be made. I've been in enough relationships to know that. But I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. What kind of idiot do I look like I am? I'm not going to argue with Adams. This Josh Reynolds' fucking 34-year-old ass. Like, what are we talking about? Like, no, it's last year for sure. But if you want me to play devil's advocate, there was something that we didn't have in that receiving room last year. Speed. We did not have a burner. We did not have a deep threat. This year, we very well may in Arian Smith. Hopefully it works out. I don't know. We have no idea. But that's something that we have this year that we didn't have last year. Also, this year, you can bank on maybe Malachi Corley getting his shit together, not dropping the ball before he goes across the plane, you know? That might be nice, you know? Also, this is kind of like an addition by subtraction thing for me. But that, you see that little number there, that number 3, you know, that guy probably not even going to be on the fucking roster, which is great by me. Or he's going to be so deep on the depth chart that we're never going to see him, which is wonderful because He was running Hail Marys for us last year. He was getting starting slot reps last year. Like, what are we doing? Come on. So no, yeah. If you want me to play devil's advocate, those are some pluses. Maybe this year's receiving group can. I doubt it. You got anything to say about that, Wudi, before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely different elements. I'm definitely very excited to look at Malachi Corley this year. I think Aaron had favorites, right? He liked Xavier Gibson. That's why Gibson got the reps that he did. I don't think he cared for Corley. And of course, kind of the same for Alan Lazard, who, has been heavily featured every time that Aaron, was under center. So, yeah, I think you're going to see a little bit more, the defense might not know who to get. Like, obviously, yeah, there's Garrett, but after Garrett, who's next? And I think that's something that Tanner Engstrand will have fun with, just putting the ball in different people's hands. But come on now, last year, you had two guys who were commanding double teams. The field was, wide open for everybody else. You saw Tyler Conklin starting to eat at the end of the year because of that. It's not even a question to have like two top 15 receivers in the league. Come on now. That's not something that we have this year, unfortunately.
Scorley might not make it, Rich says. Well, we'll see. I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he does good because I want to see him run a motherfucker over. But
yeah, come on. Now, we just drafted him last year. I'm not ready to give up.
I didn't get to see him do one. So I need to see that at least once. Give it to me. All right. So I'm going to pick next. I think we'll just alternate. That sounds good.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
I'm going to pick next, and this one's actually a tough one for me. We're going to go offensive tackle. Okay. And last year, obviously, this says Max Mitchell, but we're going to consider Olu the starter last year because he was for the bulk of the season, especially when they were good. So we'll just give last year that Olu. And then we have Olu this year. This year, we have, as you can see, Armand Membu comparative to Morgan Moses last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting because we're comparing a rookie to a vet, like a very solid vet. And I've been torn on it. Like before the show, this is like there's two positions that I was like stroking the beard over. I'm like, I better crack this beard so I can make a decision here. So I'm going to say towards the end of the year last year that our offensive line was performing pretty well. And I have no idea how rookies are going to be, even though I do like Armand Membu. I'm also a Morgan Moses guy. Give me last year's OTs, baby.
Yeah, we might end up agreeing all the way down the line, but because Morgan, again, you go with the guy, he's been extremely solid, even playing through injury. He was still one of the better tackles according to PFF in the league, whereas Membu is a complete wild card. There are before the draft, right, concerns about this, concerns about that. We don't know exactly how it's going to work. We know that in minicamp, he's been getting cooked up by Will McDonald. We obviously, of course, read those. And I was like, oh, wow, Will McDonald's about to have a good season. But all you have to do is just flip that and be like, oh, like is Membu about to, get cooked by, some of the pass rushers in New England? What I'm saying? Like that's what we gotta hope. So without knowing, right? In this instance, you gotta pick the devil you know. But of course, the counter argument here is very easily made, right? Membu is younger, right? Should be faster, should be quicker. And then the coaching up, right? The not having to worry about Keith Carter and really having a singular focus of, okay, this is what I should do. It's possible that he's better. I would imagine in 2 years He's definitely going to be better. But for right now, this year versus last year, give me last year.
That's right. And we're talking right now. But I do want to highlight one more thing before we move on. And this is really kind of what made it even tougher on me is when you look at the depth. So this is me playing devil's advocate. When you look at the depth, I do kind of like the depth this year a little bit better than I do last year. Like I'm not a fan of relying on Max Mitchell for anything other than getting my Gatorade. And oh my God, Carter Warren.
I think Carter's still going to be here, but
he's still going to be here. But we also got like Okorafor, and so, you know what I mean. So they, I don't know. I think the depth is going to be a little better this year. But overall, I just trust. We saw it last year. Morgan Moses, he wasn't perfect. He's never been perfect in his life, but the man is just rock solid. And I'm the type of guy that bird in the hand over two in the bush. So I'm going last year. What position group would you like to go next, Woody?
Well, I feel bad, so I'm gonna try to pick a group that I feel like is better this year. You know, I'm not trying to crap on this year. You know, everyone's always like, "Oh, the negative Nancy." So I'm gonna try to find. Well, technically, I think there's two. So let's start with this one. The running back situation is literally the exact same players. So obviously you can make an argument for either year, but I'm gonna say this year because Brees isn't battling injury. Apparently, he said that knee injury he had last year was more serious than he let on. He played through it. He obviously had his worst year to date. Some fumbles, some drops, turned a lot of people, including Dane back there, against him. So now we expect, now that he's healthy, for him to return back to the man who, we all enjoyed in 2022. So I would, and then the rookies, right? The rookies now have that experience. Braylon's bigger, he's stronger. I would imagine the same thing for Isaiah Davis. So while, you could say, oh, last year was last year, I would imagine this year they're going to be better.
Well, hey, so that's a good point. And once again, we're in agreement. And here's the thing is it's hard to even make a devil's advocate here because it is really the same room. Unless you start talking about RB4, like we got Donovan here. And then last year, I don't even remember who RB4 was. Actually, I was trying out for RB4. It didn't work out, stuff. But so, yeah, I don't know. Unless there is such a thing, and we've heard this term before, sophomore slump. Let's just pray and hope that Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis don't have this little thing called a sophomore slump. But it's not like they had breakout years their rookie year. I thought, they both, were adequate. But we'll see how it goes. And I just think that, this year's got to be better. There's more experience. You get better at a job, you just do it without even thinking about it. That's how it goes. I think the next position I want to do, and I feel like we're going offense heavy. I kind of want to switch over to defense because of that.
I was just because I think we're doing the offensive depth chart first. Like that's why I thought we were doing offense then defense.
Oh yeah, maybe that's why he can always. He's magic back there. He can that, and then put on defenses there, so it ain't no big deal. We are going to go because this is a position that I was a little excited to do. I want to do interior defensive line, defensive tackle. And I'm going to just straight up say that bye, Felicia, to Javon Kinlaw. And I think this year is going to be better. This is a group that I think is going to be better this year. I like Derek Naughty. I don't love Derek Naughty, but I like him more than Javon Kinlaw with his overpaid ass. I think that he's going to be a good, like, Robin to Quinnen's Batman, right? Like I think that he can do the things that Quinnen needs him to do for Quinnen to be Quinnen, right? Eat up them double teams, eat up that, just plug the holes and let Quinnen get after the quarterback and get back in the backfield, you know? And so I think that that's good. And then you also got to take into consideration like Leonard Taylor III. He's going to have another year under his belt. Yeah. So I just think that this year has to be better on the interior defensive line.
I love what you said. This year has to be better because last year was so bad.
It was.
And honestly, I've had plenty of critiques of this new regime. I think one of their biggest mistakes was not properly addressing this position. I felt like coming into the offseason, it was a top 3 position of need, and they went elsewhere. Like you get like going into the offseason, QB wasn't necessarily a position of need, right? Aaron Rodgers was under contract, right? If he wanted to stay, right, there was a place for him. Instead, they created a need in QB. They created a need in wide receiver by getting rid of, they started creating needs instead of addressing the ones that they already had. And like I said, one of the biggest, arguably the biggest one, period, was defensive tackle. Derek Nottie, in name, is great. In resume, even better. But the last 2 years, he was ranked dead last and second to last among all defensive tackles in PFF. And when I say dead last, we're talking 232nd in the league. 200. So I'm not really, hyped on him. Murph, you put it perfectly. No one. Well, I guess the Commanders are hyped on Kinlaw because they gave him all that money. But I would, like Kinlaw is nothing to celebrate. But honestly, other than LT3, who was on the team both years, there's no, like, I'm not hyped on Byron Coward. I'm not hyped on what's the difference? This is gonna sound disrespectful. What is the difference between Jay Tufele and Likey Fotu? Throw Roman Reigns in there. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I like Solly Thomas as a rotational guy. I liked LT3. Give me last year. I'm taking the last year defensive tackle.
Come on. You looked up. Don't give me a damn PFF statistic and be like, Naughtie's bum. Like, don't give me that. Naughty got rings, okay?
Yeah.
Rings.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in his, like, he and Chris Jones, trust me, like that. Yeah, that's a great unit. But our boy, he got old. There's a reason why he's not there anymore, right? And now he's trying to find his way back. But yeah, he a little old. And we didn't pay him a lot. I mean, it wasn't, the money wasn't.
Ain't got no money. Ain't got no money to pay him. Come on.
Nah. Because we didn't even pay him. We didn't pay him a lot of money.
Huh?
We didn't pay him a lot of money, so that can't have been a factor. I think the Chiefs could have afforded that.
Yeah.
I like the spicy guys. Hell yeah. You found one that you didn't agree on. First one. I wanted to take a beat because we got some new people in the chat. Dude, welcome to the Danger Zone Friday night. We got James Wudi in the house. Don't forget, though, on YouTube, if you're looking for the James Wudi, don't look for Take Flight Talk, or just go down to the description. It's down there. You can click it. It'll go right to his channel. His IG's down there. His Twitter's down there. He's always a great guest. He'll be back hopefully several times. But I wanted to pose something while I'm here because how did you guys feel like Quinnen, who anchors that room, did last year? Do you think it was an average Quinnen year? Because if you thought it was below average and we're running it back, could he make that better just by giving him another, running it back with him? Do you weigh that in, or is it if the same guy is on both teams, do you just cancel him out and don't even think about that?
You start with it.
I'm weighing it, right? Like that's why we said the running backs were better this year, right? Because we weighed it. So I'm weighing it, and that's actually a good point about Quinnen because I do expect Quinnen to be better this year. So that is a really good point. Last year, I guess for him, it's average. There were games where he came alive, but I just feel like with him, it's always been about, his co-stars. Like, when he has nobody, when he's getting doubled, unfortunately, he's not, Aaron Donald. I guess no one is, right? He can't fight through the double teams. But when, we had guys, and I'm not talking about you need the, Nick Bosa, like Carl Lawson was there and Quinnen was able to, be an all-pro. So with Jermaine and Will, it's fine that I don't like Noddy there because I think Quinnen will be better.
Okay, are you going to Edge next?
Well, I want to touch on Quinnen real quick.
Okay, all right.
I think Quinnen's year last year was not bad. Like, I don't think he had a bad year. I don't think he had a great year. He obviously didn't recreate that all-pro season that he had before. But very few players are all-pros, like just top-notch, like ridiculous stats, just absolutely crushing it every game, game in, game out. They don't do that shit every year like that. The players kind of dip and rise, like he might have a year like that this year, or it might be next year that he has a year like that. But he's a good player still, and he's still a very impactful player. So I would say that that's an average year for him. Like that's just like he was very impactful last year. I would say that that's an average year for him, and then he's going to have these years where he's going to be above average and great, just absolutely stellar. Hopefully that's this year. I'm banking on it being this year. I think him and Naughty are I think they're gonna hit it off. Like Naughty's a vet, man. Like Kinlaw was a vet, but he was barely a vet, right? Like there's a difference. Like Naughty has been on teams where like, hey, like we're here to win a Super Bowl, we're here to win a ring. Everybody's going to do their job and it's going to work. So Naughty knew like, hey, I'm taking a back seat to Chris Jones and we're going to make this work. Like I'm going to do this dirty work and I'm going to let him shine where he shines. If he does the same thing for us, Quinnen might be able to shine, right? Just like he has, in previous years. Also, if the edge group is better this year, it will also make the defensive tackle group, but we can't factor that in. We're not going to, we're just talking about one specific position group. I just wanted to say Quinnen did not have a bad year last year, and that is an average year for Quinnen.
Agreed. I think I completely agree. Other than, not Naughty, we can respectfully agree. But everything else, I completely agree. Right? That's what I was saying about the edges making an impact. Quinnen didn't have a bad year. Definitely not a bad year. And what you just said, I think that's super important. And I'll actually bring up this position next so that we can talk about this player that Sauce, it was an all-pro 2 years in a row. Did they really think that he was going to be an all-pro his first 8 years? It's so unrealistic to assume that these players are going to be all-pro every year, year in, year out, no matter what, because that it simply doesn't work that way. Not even like Tom Brady, is just first team all-pro every year. There's no one. Yeah. There's no one. So I'll bring up the corners.
Okay.
This year and last year, and won't even hesitate to say that last year was way better. Brandon Stevens, I think you got anyone who's hyping up Brandon Stevens, which I've seen. I've actually seen people attack me for not being hyped on Brandon Stevens. You are drinking the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid. There is nothing. There's like legitimately nothing to be excited about Brandon Stevens. This is a guy who is getting burned in coverage by every single wide receiver too that the Ravens faced last year. You want to talk about tackling? That's okay. The team had a tackling issue last year. But this guy, he can't. He is not a cover guy. DJ Reed, on the other hand, was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. The Lions, they got a dog. They got a dog. As for Sauce, we'll see about Sauce. I think we're all about to learn a lot about Sauce this year. Do I think he will be better this year than last? I don't know. I'm not saying like that's not like hate or anything like that. Like I just said, I didn't think Sauce was bad last year. Right. I thought he had a good season. Just, people were saying, oh, he's not an all-pro. He stinks. Trade him. Like, what are you like? Yeah, this is outrageous.
What happens when you set a high bar?
Exactly. Right. So, sorry, but Sauce, he was good last year. I'm expecting it to be good this year. MC2, I'm expecting him to be MC2. So really, the thing tipping the scale here is the immense downgrade from DJ Reed to Brandon Stevens.
Okay. Now we're getting spicy, Wudi. Because I'm going to tell you something right here. You're talking about that guy, DJ Reed, that traitor that went to Detroit, right? Okay.
Traitor, what?
Oh, he's a dog. This is what DJ Reed was last year. Okay. That's what DJ Reed was last year. He was not a dog. Okay?
That's crazy.
He was here. Let me grab your hip so I can get a fucking penalty thrown. Whatever. Anyway, he started off pretty good, and then he just went to shit throughout the year. I will agree with you. Sauce had a better year than people think he did, but it wasn't as good as his first 2 years. It was a drop-off. But just like I said earlier, players' careers do this, but as long as this is up here and not down here, you're good, okay? Sauce will be at least as good as last year, if not, better. I'm not crazy about the Brandon Stevens signing. But I don't know, he comes from a winning culture, just like Derek Nottie. By the way, I'm picking this year, so
you're picking this year
on the WWE.
There's no way.
Brandon Stevens, I'm not crazy about Brandon Stevens, but he fits the mold. He comes from a winning culture. And so we also have a stud cornerback as our head coach. If you think anyone's going to be able to coach him up, that's our coach. Okay. But the other factor in this is I'm comfortable with the fact that if Brandon Stevens fucking sucks, which he very well might, AZ Thomas might step in and just kill it straight off the bat. I mean, everybody that's been watching his film is like, dude, this dude's legit. He might start by the end of the year and stuff. People are saying that. People that don't even hate Brandon Stevens like you do, Wudi, are saying, hey, AZ Thomas is probably going to win that starting job by the end of the year. I don't know. So, and the other factor I have in this too is Michael Carter didn't have a great year last year either. He was banged up a good bit. I think he's going to be healthy this year. I think he's going to be back to the MC2 that we used to all know and love, So I'm going this year, man, because I'm basing it off of production off of last year. DJ Reed didn't have a great year last year. Brandon Stevens might hit it off. If not, you got AZ Thomas, and then MC2 is going to be better this year. Sauce might be better this year. Plus the guys, there's some sneaky guys later in the depth chart, like Stiggers, right?
Yeah.
JBC, those guys got another year under their belts. So I don't know. I'm going to bank it on this year, man.
Yeah, I feel like based on what I'm seeing or, hearing from you, seeing in the comments, a lot of DJ Reed disrespect. Literally, he was universally, how sometimes we overrate our own players or this player's better. Yeah. Literally, national coverage was talking about DJ Reed as a top 15 corner. And you guys acting oh yeah, Brandon Stevens, that he was just easily replaced. I don't know. I think you guys are gonna be surprised if you watch any Lions games this year. I really think it was a huge loss. We probably have the best corner trio in the league, and now we don't. And Stevens, if he's watching this, which he could be, you already know, always got eyes on the danger zone. It's just a terrible sign when someone is signed somewhere or traded somewhere, and the entire the media members, the fan base, every single comment is, my God, good riddance that this guy is gone. That's what we were saying under the Kinlaw signing, right? And every Jet fan was like, "Oh, this guy sucks!" Like, holy overpay, all that type of shit. That's what they're saying about us, signing Stevens. So, yeah, I that was a big part of it. And then once I actually looked at the numbers, looked at some film, it verified their sentiment. So that's why I'm down on Stevens. Hopefully, like you said, AG, maybe can coach him up. But like you said, he came from a winning organization. Like the Ravens, they got some great coaches over there. They routinely develop talent year in, year out. So if he's there and, not doing what he's supposed to be doing, then, we'll see if it magically happens here.
Okay. So I'll be honest with you, Wudi. When the news came up on the phone, and I was sitting in my car outside of a Dollar General, and the news came up on my phone, I did the whole thing. I did the slow blink. I'm like, who? That much money? Who? What? I get it. I understand, but I have faith that this coaching staff has an idea, has a plan for him, and they have a backup plan in case he is booty cheeks. So, okay, I'm going to bank on this year, man. I think that they're going to be better this year, and I think Sauce is going to have another All-Pro year this year too. So that also helps. Dane, what it is?
All right. All right. If you guys want to pick it up a hair, I know we did some spicy ones. I bet you there's some we can knock the hell out. Where do you want to go next?
Murph, it's your turn.
I was going to go interior offensive line next.
You going first or me?
And he's gone.
Okay.
Since I picked, I'll go first. It's mostly the same, right?
It's literally the exact same.
Yeah, except we got Josh Myers, who has some experience. I don't think that he's better than Tippmann, as some people are saying out there outside of the danger zone, where common sense is not necessary. But I think Josh Myers is a pretty good backup, so I'm just going to go this year. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, I was only thinking guards. Yeah, when you consider all three, Josh Myers is someone who started for the Packers, has played playoff football. As a matter of fact, when you look at this year's roster, how many guys have played in the playoffs? I'm just looking at this depth chart right now. And it's not a lot. It's definitely not a lot. Yeah, Simpson, Myers,
maybe Schweitzer did 7 years ago with Washington. I don't
So, Okafor almost certainly did. But you know what I'm saying. Overall, this team doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. Josh Myers was literally just there last year. So yeah, he has to tip this because everything else is the same. So, yeah, give me this year.
Don't be hating on my boy Xavier Newman, though. I'm just saying. I was an Xavier Newman guy. I think he was a little underrated.
Were you? His debut was rough. His debut was rough.
I really was. I was hyping him up last year. Not Jake Hansen, though. He makes me think of pedophiles for some reason.
Because was it Chris Hansen? Is that the guy?
Chris Hansen. Yeah, every time I think of him, I'm just like, oh, pedophiles. I don't like this guy. Anyway, but yeah, I'm in agreement, man. Other than Xavier Newman being my boy, he don't even know he's my boy, but he is. Josh Meyer is probably the one tipping the scale there because he's got more experience than Xavier Newman. Yeah, so that's about it for our interior O line. What would you like to hit next? Woody?
We'll go and finish the other line, edge defensive line. And this one kind of stinks because Son Reddick is here. So like, he didn't really do much. So like how can you choose last year? Like you can't, because Hassan Reddick didn't, he didn't do much. We don't know what Jermaine could have been last year. He had a really nice start to the season. Will McDonald obviously had some solid games. I want to say he got all of his sacks in like 5 games. Like he was like a serial sacker. He would have a couple games with 3, and then like 5 games with none. Anyway, I think together this year, this is one of the most exciting groups on the whole roster. The starters, Will and Jermaine. So I guess that's a point to make, is that the depth last year was kind of ass, actually. So it's still ass. So, yeah. So I would say this year, give it to me this year, because like Jermaine and Will, like if they're both healthy, like this is a dangerous squad. Like that's a dangerous duo. And then Quinnen in the middle, that's now we're starting to talk about something.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to agree with you again, Moody. How can you argue it? I mean, last year we had 2 UDFAs that were getting playing time. Eric Watts and Braden McGregor and stuff, and now they're a little deeper on the depth chart. And then you have Tyler Barron, who's kind of an unknown. I liked the pick, but I'm not banking on the pick by any means. But he might at least be good enough to shove a UDFA, further down the chart and into no man's land. And then having our boy Jermaine Johnson back is going to be nice, but God, I just don't like seeing Clemens still on the roster. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? I can't even make a devil's advocate, because we literally just have more than we did last year. If we're not even looking at Hassan Reddick. I'm going to forget that ever existed. The contract negotiations, and then him showing up but not actually being there because he wasn't on the field. Or was he? Was he on the field but not on the field? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, edge. This year it's got to be better, right? This year it's got to be better. I would like to switch over to tight end. And I like going back and forth between offense and defense just to make Dane do something in the back. All right. Anyway, so tight end. I really, really liked. I'm going to go this year. I really, really, really like the Mason Taylor pick. And getting him where we got him to, I kind of thought he was going to be a late first, and we ended up getting him in the second. Love it. Love the fact that he's got the bloodline. He's got, because there's coaching on the field, right? And then there's the coaching like off the field at home. Like when you got your dad and uncle and stuff that you can call and be like, how the hell do you handle this situation? You know what I mean? Like I want to be a professional NFL player and I want to handle this like a pro does. You just give them a call real quick. Oh yeah, I dealt with this back in 03 or whatever. Anyway, that type of stuff just really takes like a weight off the shoulders, man, for a rookie. And I think that's excellent. I think the kid's got good athleticism. He's got the right mindset. I think he's going to be a good tight end for us. I don't know that he's going to be like a Travis Kelce type, like absolute stud, top 5 every year. But I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to want to keep around. So, and I think that starts this year. And then, yeah, so I get it. I like Conklin too. But it just felt limited with Conklin, right? Like you felt like everything that you got out of Conklin was all you're going to get, and I see more out of Mason Taylor. And and that's just the starter. But we still got Ruckert. We had Yeboah last year. We do not have Yeboah this year. We have Stone Smart, who has proven he can be an asset in the passing game. Booty cheeks in the blocking, asset in the passing. So, if your offensive coordinator knows what he's doing, he's going to know how to utilize that. So this year, I think this year's going to be better. That's where I'm at. Tell me I'm wrong, Woody.
Mason Taylor was my favorite pick of the draft. Of this year's draft. I needed a tight end. Like I said, going into the offseason, defensive tackle was probably the biggest need. I felt like tight end, again, they created a need, right? It wasn't always a need, but you got rid of Conklin, so now it's a need. And I thought that there were the Warren Warriors out there, but Taylor was the guy. Athletic, like you said, second generation, could just call up dad, and just say, yo, what's up? That's huge. But if you apply the same concept of, Membu, John Simpson, and not John Simpson, sorry, Membu and Morgan Moses, like that is what I'm feeling with Mason Taylor and Tyler Conklin. In 2 years, yeah, I mean, come on now. I want Mason Taylor to be the Jets tight end for the next decade. All right. But like Tyler Conklin, I feel like is as sure as they come every year, 500 yards. Like, he is there, sure hands, can do stuff after the catch. It's just that the passing attack was almost never prolific during his tenure as a Jet. I know we're only talking about last year, so I'll stick to just last year, where Aaron had tunnel vision on, trying to get Devontae this statistic, right? 1,000 yards, catch my 500 TD, all that type of stuff. Conklin jersey right here, Dano. Come on now. I mean, Conklin, sure hands. He was a very, very, very good tight end. I think he's very underappreciated by this fan base. And Taylor, like I said, in 2 years, yes. This first season, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I don't expect him to be trash. But Conklin, in my opinion, was above average. I would say, actually. So I'm not expecting that from Mason. Ruck is Ruck. Stone Smart, couldn't care less about him. So give me last year for the tight ends.
Okay, so I will say, like, there's 32 teams in the NFL. Breaking news, guys. So there's 32 starting tight ends in the NFL, and like average would be 16. So like when you're ranked 14th, you're above average.
That's the exact number I was thinking of, by the way, was 14.
That probably is what the number is. I don't know. I talk what I do on here. Anyway, so yeah, but it just, to me, it felt so limited, and I think that Mason Taylor has much higher potential, right? I just think that he can do things that Conklin couldn't. Like, Conklin had an excellent rocker step, right? But there wasn't much in the bag after that for me. Like, he had pretty good hands, excellent rocker step, left a little bit of desired in the run game, but he was willing as a blocker. I think that Mason Taylor's at least that willing, that's not a high bar, but I think he's athletic enough to where if he gets good coaching, he can be a good blocker. So
do you think he's going to be a top 14 tight end in the NFL this year?
I think, yeah, dude, I think we're getting 600 yards out of him this year.
Wow.
I really do. Yeah. Okay. Hot take, maybe not hot take. I don't know. But, and then beyond that, last year after Conklin, there was nothing. Like,
it's the same thing this year.
I didn't no, but that's the thing. I didn't hate Yeboah, but he made a couple plays maybe. The thing is, Stone Smart can make plays on the field. Like I said, he's not good in the blocking game. Don't put him out there when we're blocking, but you can put him out there and even move him out to the slot. He can be a big slot, whatever, and he can be effective. He's shown that he has the ability to do that. Um, so I mean, we're basically just scratching out Ruckert at this point. But if he ain't learned it yet, he's not going to learn it now.
Well, you know, Justin Fields read the Ohio State Connect. We'll see.
Okay.
So I'll choose linebacker, which unfortunately is very similar to last year again. Like the same starters. Again, CJ Mosley. So for this, honestly, like I actually think that this position and the running back like are as close to a tie as you can possibly get, right? Like the running back was literally the same people. We just were like, okay, there's reason to believe that they got better. This time around with the linebackers, like that sophomore slump that you mentioned for Braylon Allen, like that could happen for Jamie Sherwood because he was out on the field the whole time. So now there's a year's worth of tape of like, oh, these are his tendencies.
He did have some experience before that, though.
Yeah, but like this was like, you know, first year as a starter, like the opposing OCs like have this wealth of tape that they did not have before this season on him.
Okay.
And I'm not, you know, who knows, right? Like I'm not saying he's you know, bad or anything, but you know, like this, if there was a time for him to dip, it would be now. Quincy is Quincy. I love Quincy. One of my favorite players on the whole team. Yeah, I feel like this is very close to a tie. I know Dane wants us to pick this year because he's so excited for this year. So I'll go with this year. I'll say this year. Maybe Maui Goa, you know, maybe he is, you know, Roman Reigns or something like that. Like, you know, but it's very similar to last year.
Is it because they're like both Samoan or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Great link there, dude. Anyway, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. It's last year because, Captain, my captain, we had him. Even if he was sitting his ass on the bench injured, he was still there. He was coaching, and things were right. I don't know. And also, like, I liked a lot of our depth guys. Like, we don't have Chaz Surratt anymore. I liked Chaz Surratt. Like, when he stays healthy and he's actually on the field, I think he's actually a solid player. You know, I'm not saying he's like a above average starting linebacker in the league, but like he's definitely a depth piece that I feel like you could rely on in a pinch. Eguavoen, we've seen him out on the field. He's made some plays and stuff, like nothing crazy, but I just think last year was solid. I think it was rock solid last year, and this year there's a lot of unknown with the Maui Goa or however you pronounce it. Is it Kiko? Is he the one that's Kiko Francisco?
I think so. I'm not even gonna lie. I just freaked out that. Yeah. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm not.
But yeah, everybody like literally like this whole like Zaire Barnes, like, yeah, come on now.
Maybe you know, but he was on the team last year, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the question marks. Yeah, like you're right.
I just too many question marks this year. I'm gonna go with that rock solid unit that we had last year and coached because he was sitting on the bench by CJ Mosley, and I like it. I'll take that.
Damn. Now I want to change my answer, but it's fine.
Not too late.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right. This is a room that I was excited to do, and I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to stay on defense. I want to do safeties. I think this is a very interesting room. Actually, I'm gonna look it over again because I picked, but I'm like, I don't know if that's what I really wanted. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So okay, yeah, yeah. We're going this year, dude. We're going this year because Cisco is my guy. That's like my favorite signing that we made this year. I've said it a million times. We should have signed him to a multi-year deal. I don't think that it should have just been 1 year. Tony Adams kind of had a little bit of a rough year last year. I still believe Tony Adams can solidify himself as a decent starter, but if not, I'm a big fan of the Malachi Moore pick in the draft. I think that's a guy that if Tony Adams doesn't work out, Malachi Moore can step in and just be rock solid for us for 8 or so years. Like, um, I just like this year's group, man. I like the potential. I like the depth. I like, yeah, I like how it's looking this year.
Wholeheartedly agree with everything you said about Cisco. Wish he was part of a multi-year deal. Fantastic athlete. Tony, I would imagine he's going to get better. I feel like it's hard to see a situation where he's worse. Like he would either be the same, right? Like maybe he's the same or better. A young guy, new regime, that's going to play to his strengths. And I think he'll be fine. And like you said, having Malachi Moore there, eases everybody's mind. Well, I guess besides Yato's, but the coaches, right, knowing like, oh, we got our next guy in waiting. I personally hated Ash. I'm gonna say hated. Just was not a big fan of Ashton Davis's play. Outside of intercepting Tua, every single time we played the Dolphins, he would have at least one pick against Tua. He wasn't really that good. Like he's a fantastic athlete, right? Has the speed, has good hands, but wasn't really technically sound. Wasn't a good tackler. Always was out of position. So I think I think this year, it's an upgrade for sure.
Ashton Davis was such a weird player, wasn't he? Like he really was. Like he just like the dude, uber athletic, super fast. You got a lot of hope in him, but he just, oh man, the first year or two, like his pursuit angles horrible, his coverage was horrible, and then the third year, he was like all of a sudden he gets these picks and stuff, and people are like, oh man, Ashton Davis is going to be that dude, and then it's like, then you see a little bit more of him, and you're like, oh, he still is kind of booty cheeks, but then he does other things like that Miami game, he like got that safety like between him and Quinnen, like he was bull rushing. He's a safety. He's like bull rushing a dude and stuff to get back there. Like I don't know. He was a really weird dude, but I don't trust his ass. So get his ass off the field. I'll stick with Malachi Moore or Tony Adams, one or the other. Yeah, I mean, you could play devil's advocate and say, you got more experience with Ashton there. I don't know. I can't even really play much of devil's advocate on this one. I even like a couple of the UDFAs that we got, like the Clark guys and stuff. So I don't think they're necessarily going to make it, but there's some potential there, I suppose. I think I did safety, so you're next.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
But we don't know who will be like returning. I guess we can do kicker and punter. But I guess we also don't really know who's kicking either. Honestly, like for me,
just estimate.
Oh, you want to just do the entire thing with coach and the whole unit?
Yeah. Obviously, it's up to you. I would say the everyone hated Greg Zuerlein last year. I had a little bit more what's the word? I don't want to say patience because like obviously every missed kick was like tough, but like he like literally led our team in scoring the 2 years before, and then like had this bad year. So I guess I didn't have the hate that everyone else has for Greg Zuerlein. Now we're talking about this year. We're talking about I'm gonna say it again, the thicker kicker. And we got the other dude, Caden Davis. So we don't know. Like neither of these guys have ever played in the NFL before. I think that's actually what Rich Cimini said, that now, we have a kicker and a punter who have 0 NFL snaps. So I can say whatever I want to say, and we don't know. So with that being said, as crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna go with last year. And at least, we know the NFL caliber this year. They could be great in practice, great, and then all of a sudden the bright lights of an actual NFL game goes on, and instead of Harris and Mevis, we got Beavis and Butthead. So I'm gonna go with last year, strictly off of the experience factor.
I really badly wanted to go this year for the simple fact that I don't think Xavier Gibson is going to be our returner this year. And I'm like, I'm down. Let's do it. Can't do it, though. You got rid of my guy, Thomas Morstead. What the fuck are you doing? That doesn't make any sense at all. He was still rock solid last year. Yeah, he can't punt it 80 yards like he once upon a time could, but he still gets the hang time. He still puts the ball where it needs to go. He doesn't out punt his coverage team. He doesn't, the guy was rock solid. He was still one of the better punters in the league. Why would you let him go? Now we're going to have a guy that's going to be pulling a Braden Mann, shanking it, every other kick, and whatever, man. Greg Zuerlein, yeah, he had a rough year, but dude, we've seen so many kickers have rough years. Before Greg the Leg, I don't know if you guys remember this, but we went through like 30 kickers in like 4 years. Like, I don't know, I'm obviously exaggerating, but I can't even remember all the names. Like, Vedvik.
Vedvik. Austin Seibert, I feel like was one.
Lasted like 3 games or something, and what are we doing? We're about to do that shit again this year. We got the thick kicker and Caden Davis. Like, Caden Davis is still taking sociology classes at 8 a.m. Like, what are we doing? You got to go last year. I'm not going to make a devil's advocate. You could say, potential, whatever. No, I'm going last year.
Wow, and we're back to agreeing. Feels so good.
Yeah, but this is one, that we're probably also going to agree on. Excuse me. We're going to jump to the QB, most important position on the field. I don't think there's an argument there. We went from an Aaron Rodgers that we all thought was going to throw for 4,500 yards and 45 touchdowns last year and stuff, and he didn't quite do that. And then this year we have Justin Fields as our starter. Tyrod was the backup last year. Tyrod is the backup this year. So, anyway, so I'm gonna start this off. I like Justin Fields. I like the kid as a person. I follow Ohio State. Like, I'm a WVU guy, but I also like Ohio State. I was born in Ohio, whatever. Justin Fields, good kid. He's talented, uber talented, but so was Zach Wilson. So, I think he'll be better than Zach Wilson. Let me put that out there to be straight. Aaron Rodgers, like, even though he definitely left a lot to be desired last year, he still was like decent. Like, he was still solid, and Justin Fields could very well bottom out this year. He does bring an element that we didn't have last year with the run game. But if we push that too much, he'll become reliant on it, and then he won't know how to throw the ball again. I'm going to go last year. Aaron Rodgers over this year, Justin Fields.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no, because neither am I. Come on, now it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. And I'll say a couple things. Aaron Rodgers last year was top 10 in TDs thrown, top 10 in yards thrown. All right. I am not going to sit here and say that he was perfect. As a matter of fact, in week 7, I was actually one of the few people that was critical of Aaron while everybody was pointing fingers somewhere else. Pointing fingers at Zerline, pointing fingers at Salah, pointing fingers at Mike Williams with the red line whole thing. And yeah, Aaron he literally threw the ball away in like 4 different games. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of them right now. I know the Vikings was one because he threw it to Stephon Gilmore. I believe the Bills, I think that was the red line game where, come on now. The Broncos, he was terrible. They blamed Greg for that kick, but Will Lutz literally just missed a 50-yard field goal because of the weather. And all Aaron had to, let's get a first down. Aaron couldn't secure a first down. And then Zerline had a 50-yard kick, missed. And all the blame was on Zerline. That was not fair to him because of, again, if Lutz is hitting him, okay, Greg, you messing up. But no, that wasn't the case because it was a bad weather game. So Aaron was not perfect by any means. But here's what Aaron was able to do. Like I said, was, I want to say it was the 3rd most touchdowns thrown by a Jets quarterback in the history of the franchise. He also was able to read defenses. He was able to, check plays before they were called. There's a lot of things he was able to do. A lot of balls he was able to throw, Hail Mary to Lazard that pretty much completely go out the window when we switch to Justin Fields. And I know everyone, the Kool-Aid is delicious, I guess, because everyone's drinking it. Okay, we can run, we can do all this type of stuff, but no one is looking at, they're looking at what we could. But have you seen what has happened? What has happened with Justin Fields over the years? He hasn't been able to read defenses. He hasn't been able to throw accurate footballs consistently. It's all projection. Everything that people are saying about, I know my guy, Johnny Boy, I hope he's trolling to an extent when he says Justin Fields MVP, but the sentiment behind it is he's in his best situation he's in now, or, all that type of stuff. But he just hasn't been able to do the little things that make you a successful quarterback. Great kid, yes. Great athlete, yes. Great quarterback, not right now. Obviously, I hope that can change, but give me Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Hey, so yeah, that's the thing, man. Justin Fields, if the only argument I can think of is he can run. I just don't know that that's enough to turn the tables, especially if you're lacking more in the passing game right there. One thing about Justin Fields that has been proven by, if you look at his film, whatever, holds the ball too long, right? One thing about Aaron Rodgers, 1-2 step, okay, you know what I mean? That's hit, and it was his offense and everything. So he knew where the hell he's going, and especially whenever Devontae Adams was on the field. I'm just gonna throw it up to him regardless. It don't matter who's Garrett Wilson. I don't even know. I got one receiver out here. I'm throwing it to him anyway. And he still made it work half the time. So whatever.
That Jags game was electric. It was electric. The
but
Jags.
Aaron Rodgers, when he gets back, he knows where he's going with it. Justin Fields, he's trepid. He gets back there, he's got trepidation. I don't know if that window's enough. Too late now. And then he takes off running and whatever. That's until he can get that out of his system, until he can actually feel comfortable in the offense and just trust the plays to develop the way that they're supposed to develop and see the field. I gotta go Aaron here. Like that 600 yards of rushing that he's going to get us this year is not enough for me to change my mind on that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely possible that he can feel more comfortable. Tanner Angstren designs some looks where it's 1-2, right? And that's what they used to do that with Zach. Zach's best year was LaFleur's last year, or I guess that was his second year. It was the overtime, but what they kept doing was running those crossing routes with a guy underneath and a guy a little deeper across the middle, and whichever guy the linebacker went to, Zach would throw it to the other. And that was like one of our best plays. Tyler, hey, shout out Tyler Conklin, because he was usually the recipient. And it made we were 7-3. Some people were actually fooled into thinking Zach might actually be something at that time. So if Angstran, who is creative, they say creative like LaFleur was creative, can do that for a full season, and then of course Fields does have his legs to help keep drives alive. It is possible. I just don't think that it's likely, and especially since there is so much that a defense can throw at him to confuse him. We'll see, obviously, but I just feel like with Aaron, all that is gone. Like with Aaron, the only thing we had to do was protect him, and that didn't happen sometimes. But for the most part, when he was protected and healthy, like he was even moving in the pocket. People saying that he was a statue. That's a little like, yes, like after the Vikings game and he got hurt, he was a statue. But I triple dog dare you to watch the Patriots game and call that man a statue. So I would say overall it's Rodgers. But I'm not saying that we're doomed with Fields or anything. It's possible.
Yeah. The thing one thing I really did like about Rodgers was like whenever he would get a little feisty and he'd start running around, and maybe he would even take off and get 8 or 10 yards or whatever, he'd get up and be like, oh, he's like in their face. He's like, he'd get fucking fired up, and he would heat up. When he did that, he would start to heat up too. He'd start throwing dots, man, and that was something I liked about him. It's a damn shame he wasn't, 6 years younger or something, because that might have really worked out, guys. Justin Fields is younger, but I still have a lot of trepidations about him. The one thing I'll say, Justin Fields had a decent year in the stretch that he started for the Steelers. Everybody in the NFL was aware of the fact that Russell Wilson was the starter, though. So, when people had Steelers on their they're on their little schedule there. They're thinking they're going to play Russell Wilson, and so Fields ended up starting for like 6 games. So there's something to be said about that too. You game plan for one guy, and another guy's in there. I don't know. I don't want to take away from what Fields did, but I trust last year's Aaron more than I do this year's Fields, and that's just how it is. Dane, tell me I'm wrong. What's up?
No. Dude, it was so hard to stay back there. I want to debate, man. That's why I said DKB. We need to do this because he had some strong takes at certain rooms too. No, I don't want to poke holes in anything. Like me in the chat, I'm a viewer. Me on screen, though, I'm a politician right now, and I'm grading you guys, or at least summing it up, right? How do you want to do it? Do you want me to tell you what you agreed on? Or you know what? Let's do this. This is 2024 results, okay? This is where you guys leaned. You think their wide receiver room, the tackles, and did you both go Rodgers?
Yep. Hell yeah, we both went Rodgers. 10 out of 10.
So you love the passing of all 2024. You lean heavily there. Running backs and interior O-line, you leaned, we're going to be a little better now. So that's cool. Tight end, you were split. And honestly, we don't know. It was kind of cool because Conklin set like that bar where it's like, it's not hard to get there for Taylor. If he does, perfect. But also his upside could make it even better. And also, like I wanted to mention, you did lean last year with wide receiver, tackles, and quarterbacks, but it doesn't mean we're definitely going to, go down there. I think wide receiver has a chance of, okay, we don't have Devontae Adams, but if the quarterback spreads the ball around, it could offset a little bit of that. Is all I'm saying.
Rudy both were like, about to say, what are you about to say, Dane? And then Dane was like, I'm backing up. I'm not.
Here's the thing. Like, if you're running, who the hell was ROC last year? Like, if you're running that offense,
crawling out of a garbage can.
The only way we stand a chance this year is if you're creative, you're just spreading it all around and you hope that the whole sum is greater than each part. Last year we had parts, and I don't know, I wish they melded into a great sum, but they didn't always do that. And that's the only thing I would say about that. But you did lean. Thank you. Offense, though, you're leaning 2024. But the ground game kind of brings you back a little bit. Now let's go defense. You were split on a couple big ones. IDL, you were split. Cornerbacks, you were really split.
Yeah, I still can't believe that.
And you were split the same way. Wudi, you went 2024 for both. Murph, you like the new guys, so that'll be interesting to see play out. However, edge, defensive edge, linebackers, safeties, you're all leaning now, so that's pretty exciting. If the defense takes a step, maybe the offense, the passing game can take a step back. Special teams, I don't know how, but you both liked last year's special teams when we couldn't even make an extra point without having a heart attack. Xavier Gibson.
Dude,
talk to me.
Our kicker next year is going to be worried about his sociology exam. He's going to be studying on the sideline. He ain't even going to know that he's got to go out there to kick a fucking extra point. Like, come on.
You know what sucks too? This offense, the way it's going to be designed, there's going to be a lot of like drives stalled around the 20, the tip of the red zone. We're going to need a field goal kicker, but will we get I mean, here's my theory: is maybe the kicker isn't on the roster yet.
Could be.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Maybe that's possible. It's possible, but I think that, come on now, they coming from the Dan Campbell School of Hard Knocks. We about to be going for it on fourth a bunch, especially with Fields, voted to keep the tush push. Like, I feel like, yeah, like these kickers are not even really going to be kicking like that, to be honest with you.
Hey, you very well might be right, but we going to need a punter, because when we're not in the red zone, we're punting that ball. So,
yeah.
So whenever Brees Hall runs into a wall because he can't see the open hole on the line on first down, and then Justin Fields holds the ball for 13 seconds on the second down and gets sacked, and then we only get like a little 5-yard slant on third down, we're going to have to punt it. Sorry, guys.
Facts. So
yeah, that sums it up.
Was a mistake. I really don't. Yeah.
Go ahead, Wudi.
No, I was just gonna say getting rid of Morrison was a mistake, and I don't like. I understand like getting younger, and like the youth movement. I do understand that, but I do think also having like, it doesn't have to be full of veterans. Like, just have a couple of veterans to just help school these guys is helpful. Like, it's helpful for them to, someone who's been through it. But right now, all the elder statesmen of this team are like 27. So it's just
One thing
grinds my gears.
One thing I do want to point out though is like even if like I or Wudi had voted against last year's squad of that position, doesn't necessarily mean that if that squad was here this year that like where I'm getting at is like that squad could have been the same squad as the year before and been really freaking good that year and still has the potential to recreate that the following year, but we're basing it off the production of last year. Like I just wanted to make that like really clear. So like for my like cornerback vote that Wudi like wants to rag on me about, like MC2 was banged up a lot of last year. He wasn't making the impact that he did in his previous years. I'm banking on him being healthy this year. He's going to make that impact like he did. He made a name for himself as one of the top nickels in the league, you know? So he's going to go back to that this year. And then Sauce, like it wasn't a terrible year last year. I don't think it was, but he obviously has shown that he can be better than that. And I think he's got the mindset. He's been a pro since day one, man. He's like, give me the books, give me the playbook. Let's do this thing. Like he wants to put the work in. He wants to be the best. So I don't see him having 2 years like that in a row. He's going to be back up to at least Pro Bowl level, if not all pro. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, yeah, Brandon Stevens probably a downgrade from DJ Reed, even though DJ Reed last year wasn't great. First 4 weeks, sure, he was stellar. After that, bum, okay? Like, seriously. So, Brandon Stevens, if he's a bum, you're even there, okay? Bring in AZ Thomas. He may not be a bum. There you go. This year's better. That's where I was getting at. But, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that we're basing it off of last year and last year only's production. So like when I said Aaron Rodgers over Justin Fields, I'm not saying that because Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. I'm not. I'm just saying that Aaron Rodgers did okay last year. It was not perfect. And yes, he frustrated me, man. Like there was a lot of times he had me frustrated. I felt like he could have been better, but I think he's better than what Justin Fields is going to do this year.
Let me ask you something and tell me if you agree on the quarterback debate, because that is literally the biggest swayer of how this year goes. If I were to rank the 3 quarterback options, like to quarterback this team, call me crazy, but I would rank them 2025 version of Rodgers first. 2025 version of Fields, then 2024 version of Rodgers. Meaning, if you told me that Rodgers would be what we got last year, again, the same thing, banged up, and we were running it back with him again the same way, no, I want Fields. But if I knew, hey, he's going to have all summer to heal, and we get new version of Rodgers, I want him over Fields. Is that a bad take?
I personally think that 2025 and 2024 Rodgers aren't that different. Like, yeah, like he's gonna be, healthier in theory, but like he didn't like come into the season banged up last year. It was off the Achilles, right? So that's a pretty big deal. But like I said, like his mobility like looked pretty good. Like week 3 was that Patriots game where he was scrambling for first down.
But he got killed after that. He got killed weeks 4 and 5, and then was never the same. He should have been benched. Week 3 was the outlier.
Well, the Vikings game was when his knee bent back. I think that was week 5, right? Yeah, his knee bent back. Barely even went to the 10th because he had to finish the drive. So that was. But after the bye, I want to say it was the Seahawks we played after that. He was moving again. And then he was scrambling again. So, my personal hope this whole time was to run it back with Rodgers. Devontae would still be here and draft the heir apparent to learn under Rodgers, and I wanted Will Howard. And as fate would have it, both Aaron Rodgers and Will Howard are now on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we got Justin Fields. So I don't even know.
I'm in Steeler country, and that organization just haunts me, dude. Like, I liked Will Howard too. Like, I was like, if you're not getting Cam, I don't want any of them other guys. You wait till 4th, 5th round and get Will Howard. Like, that's how I felt about it too. But yeah, and then the fucking Steelers draft them too. Like Zach Frazier last year. Loved Zach Frazier. They took him. Whatever. I hate that organization. Anyway, Dane shares that hatred with me a little bit because he grew up.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I spent 32 years right outside of Pittsburgh. Woody, I don't know. We probably already held you way longer than you wanted. I want to hear though your like final assessment, because we did break down, like, give your closing arguments. Like, are we last year's team plus 10% potential? Are we exactly the same potential with a different staff? Are we maybe a shade less, like ceiling wise? Where, and I'm not saying your take a week ago or even at the start of the show. I mean, like, based on what we just went over, how does it sway, or how do you scale it?
Well, I think, and this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning, is that, unfortunately, the result of last year, I think a big factor in the result of last year, let me not even say a big factor. I'm actually going to say the biggest factor on the results of last year is the fact that their head coach that everybody believed in was gone week 5. That's not going to happen this year. So when you look at this year, automatically this year should be more productive overall because there's a head coach the whole year. The staff is pretty sound and everyone's staying the whole year. Roster wise, like just specifically, like what is the talent? Madden rate. I don't know if you guys saw the Madden ratings came out for each team, and like the Jets were like the 9th highest team in the league. I don't know. AG must be on the staff. Like I don't know who. What, bro? We was higher than like the Rant. Like, anyway. Like yeah, roster wise, I really don't think we got better. Like I don't think the ceiling is nearly as high. But the floor is higher because we have a coach. So that's pretty much how I'd say it. Floor is higher. The team should inherently be better than not having a coach last year. But the ceiling is just not high where I'm not making any plans in late January on Sunday. But hey, I would love to be surprised.
I like that take. Wudi, I did want to plug you again while you're here. Guys in the chat, glad to have you. It looks like some late people came. If you didn't know, Wudi's, everybody knows you from Boy Green and Wudi for sure. But if you're watching on Twitter or whatever, just know that Wudi's socials are down in the description. But talk to me. Do you have any projects coming up, or do you have any? Where can we find you, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, Take Flight Talk. Dano, thank you so much for everything you've done to help me try to build that channel on YouTube. I mean, you personally are responsible for like 20% of my growth, since the last time I was here. So thank you big time. So that's Take Flight Talk. Abby, who was here earlier in the chat, we're out here, we're talking Jets. And that's where you get my takes. Like I responded right away when CJ Mosley was when he retired. I put something up on there. At the James Wudi, my handle right here on all the other socials. Besides TikTok, I'm still Take Flight Talk. So YouTube and TikTok, Take Flight Talk, and then everything else is at the James Wudi. Yes, every Tuesday and Thursday at 3, Boy Green. That's where we do a lot of our work. We were supposed to have Giovanni Williams, the brother of Quinnen and Quincy, on Thursday. He had something come up, so we had to pivot, but we will have him on. And then, I might have something else cooking via NY Jets Report, the IG page. He said he might, want to do something, bring together a team. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. Call some at the line, and you might be hearing from your boy at some point. But you already. I was talking Knicks when they was out here making their run to the Eastern Conference. Was that bad or is that good? Dang, that face. I don't know if that was a good.
No, I'm just thinking, man. Like I'm a Knicks, Mets, Jets, and like
me too.
Bro, the last 9 months I've been like putting a blender on high, and I'm just cooked. I'm cooked, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like life was feeling real good. Like a month ago. Like it was amazing. But the Mets are now, losing streak. We lost to the Pacers. The Pacers are one game away. I don't even want to talk about all that. But yeah. So I'm here to talk about the Knicks, Jets, Mets. Those are my squads. And as always, it's always an absolute pleasure. Oh my God, Murphy. Okay, all right, Murphy. All right, you don't have to. Always a pleasure in the danger zone. My God, what is that? A Fields jersey? The Fields jersey?
Did he really? That's sauce.
That's sauce. It's sauce. It's sauce.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trolling.
What is Fields wearing?
Number 7.
Okay. Yeah.
Lucky number 7, baby. He's gonna take us all the way to heaven. To the promised land.
My God.
Watch, he's gonna last 7 minutes.
I would love nothing more than that. Like, I would love to be wrong on Justin Fields.
My God.
I don't see it, man. I'm not seeing. I can't. That vision, that movie that you're making, I can't watch it, dude. I don't have the subscription to the Jetflix or whatever that you got going on. Yeah, I'm gonna need those things to be able to see that vision because I ain't got it right now.
Yeah. I don't see it.
I just think that they're going to work towards his strengths and they're going to put him in a position to succeed and let Fields be Fields, not let him try to be something that he's not. Try to, like, I think Dano said it earlier, right? But the whole Hurt stuff, like trying to make Fields to be Hurts. I'm like, why? Let Fields be Fields. Like, just go, let him do his stuff. That was the issue over there at Pittsburgh. That was the issue in Chicago. That dude was running through offensive coordinators left and right prior to coming over here. And then you got Tanner that finally says, dude, I'm hyped with this guy because I've never had a quarterback with the different dynamics that Justin Fields can bring to the table. I mean, look what he did with Jared Goff and what they did over there with Jared Goff. Yes, do they have some really good wide receivers in Detroit and all that stuff? I mean, yeah, but prior to that was Armon St. Brown. Did anybody even know who dude was? I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, like, again, man, I don't know. I was not trying to get myself hyped up for the season whatsoever, but I can't help but to be hyped up for the season. Seeing the coaching staff that we have, a guy that's actually going on the stand and talking and putting people in their place. And I really feel like this dude is going to keep people accountable for what we're going to have this upcoming year. If like Clemens does any of that dumb crap, I truly believe that Glenn will be like, bro, you're off the squad. Like, you're cut, just to make a point. Like, that stuff won't fly.
Well, you said it, John. You said it like if we had Hackett with Fields, I would not even watch. But the hope is that Angstrom is creative, man, and not even just that. Like, Fields, your job. We got a wide receiver that can carry the passing game, and we got a running back that everybody but me thinks will carry the running game. So why don't Fields just distribute to those two guys nonstop? Rodgers couldn't do it. He had to get a third option and go somewhere else. Just have Fields do that with a better O-line. Hey, and yes, the O-line is predominantly the same, but guess what? A year together makes them automatically better, assuming health.
What were they ranked last year in pass blocking? They were like good, if I'm not mistaken. Were they not?
They were good at first, but it was a lot of it was Rodgers having the quickest release time in the NFL. Yeah, so they were like very low in pressures, but as the season went on, like I think they were like 20th by the time the season ended. But in the first like 5 weeks, they were like number one. But as Rodgers got beat up, he held onto the ball longer and all that type of stuff.
I mean, I think the high for me with Rodgers last year that I could be like, damn, this was the best he played, was that home opener. And then after that, right, what was it? Do I think like when you guys were talking about like who do I think is better, like last year's Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback or Fields this year as a quarterback, I'm going with Fields, man, just off the strength of the youth and that other dynamic that he brings to it. If this would have been like long time ago, Aaron Rodgers type of situation, it would have been A-Rod all day, every day, but it's not. Like you saw what the dude was constantly. We're also getting like a crap load of penalties with him, audible on the ball, the damn shit right on the line itself, and then like you were having people coming out and talking about this was probably one of the hardest freaking playbook to learn because this dude was changing stuff right off the get and then changing it again and then changing it again. So
Hey, I do want to say one thing. Like I said earlier, I like Fields. Like I loved him as a player at Ohio State. I was torn between whether I wanted him or Zach Wilson in that draft. I think that the Bears did ruin him. I really do think that the Bears did ruin him, but I also think that it's really hard to pull a player out of that. Once they're in that, like I think it's hard to pull a player out of that. Because Fields, like when you watch him at Ohio State, dude, he was not a runner. Like he could run, but he was not a runner. The dude had an arm and he was throwing dots at Ohio State. Like, and then he comes to the NFL and the Bears are like, "Oh, you're athletic. Our offensive line sucks. Run for your life."
yeah,
Figure it out, kid. Like, and it's just like, and that's all he knew to do. That's all he figured out to do. He didn't have proper coaching over there, and so he never developed as a passer in the NFL. And then it's just like now he's trying to, but it's just like you're already behind the 8 ball, man, and it's tough. It's tough. These teams, these fan bases don't have patience for you if you don't have it right off the bat now.
100%, and that's exactly like Murph. I mean, I was saying it like I'm a dog, right? So Bulldogs all day, every day. But I remember Ohio Justin Fields slashing us. It was nuts, and it was tough. But you're right. He was not a cat that was running first. That dude has some dogs of wide receivers when he was in Ohio. And them cats, he had to get the ball to them, and he did on stride as well. So I'm excited, man. I really
hold it, Johnny. Hold it right there, Wudi. I know you got to run. Do you have anything to say about what those two were just speaking of? While you on your way out there?
Yeah, I mean, all I'll just say is that, like, obviously, we're all rooting for Fields.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hard to argue against that. This is the best situation he's been in the league. Like, I feel like right? The whole organization, top to bottom, wants him to succeed. This is going to be the best offensive line he's had. Probably the best running back room. He's had some decent backs. And just, we don't know a lot about Terran Engstrand, but we're optimistic enough where it's going to be better than Nathaniel Hackett. It's just, to Murph's point, is he broken beyond repair? I know, as Jets fans, we see Geno, right? We see Darnold, and now we keep saying like, oh, like, now he's just the next. But like for every Geno and Darnold, Trey Lance. There's like 100 Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is the norm. Darnold is an outlier, a huge outlier. Josh Rosen didn't even get a chance. Like, there's so many.
Preach.
So that's where I feel like we're banking on something that's such a small probability. But, just because it's small doesn't mean it's zero. So who knows? Hopefully we can make something happen. And let's go, Jets.
Hey, Wudi, before you go, one last thing. Because we were comparing last year to this year. I don't need a prediction. I just need do we have more wins this year than last year or less? Or the same? More wins this year. Oh, okay. All right, Wudi.
My take.
We appreciate you as always, buddy. Thank you for coming on, man. Last. I love arguing with you. I love drinking beer with you, even though it's through a screen. I might have to travel to the Carolinas sometime.
Yo, come through.
Cheers.
Come through.
Yes.
Later,
Yes.
man.
Cheers.
Later, brother. Cheers.
That caps Wudi's second visit to the DZ. Johnny, I want to continue that conversation. Let me just give me 30 seconds here. Chat, if you're late joining us, spike the like button. That's all we ask. Haven't got, we don't have super chats. We don't have all that. Just spike the like. That's all you got to do. And you can hang out here as long as you want. Johnny, dude, it's slippery slope because like you said, man, I just think they were good at pass blocking last year. They're set up to be even better this year at pass blocking. But is our offense going to be leaning into that? And is that Fields' strength? That's sus. I wish so badly that as good as they look on paper pass blocking, that it was run blocking. And we could just run downhill with Braylon and Davis, throw screens and shit to Brees. We still we might not be a top 5 run blocking unit, but it's tough. We got to see it coming together. And also like that O-line is going to have bumps in the road because our tackles only have a combined 7 starts. The IOL, the 3 guys in the middle have to carry us those first few games. They have to, or at least keep the tight end or keep the tackles, knowing what they're doing and shit. Hell, Mason Taylor be the 6th tackle on the edge there. Just run tight formations until everybody's on the same page. Will they? I don't know. We'll see.
And I mean, I think for me, and I've been saying it a lot, the beauty of it all for me is the unknown, because we have no idea of what this offense can look like. I like the Membu pick because Membu is a right tackle, and that's what he's been doing forever, is right tackle. It's not trying to move a player that played another position into that. So I like that. Murph hit it earlier in talking about the depth piece of it, right? Having Okufer, whatever his name is, as the second one there, that's huge. I think so. Left tackle, I'm kind of worried in a sense of I think it's Carter Warren is the second guy that comes to play in regards with that, right? And Olu did get injured towards the end of the season. So is that an issue? Is that a problem? Is it going to go this year? I have no idea. We don't know. And so we had Lamont on last week, right? Myself with Snowball. Shout you out, Snowball. And he talked about the line a lot. And he was saying, he's like, this is probably going to be, if not the best offensive line that the Jets have ever had. And I was like, damn. He was like, you really, really think so? He's like, yeah, man. Just because he was talking about shit was funny, but he was talking about their backside, right? But the way they move and all this stuff, and the way he was breaking it down to myself, and this was like in the after stuff, like it wasn't even during on the show. I was like, it's stuff that I don't know. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
bro, just to chime in, like they average 6'5", 320 across the board. They're agile. Like they're not plodding fat guys. They are like athletic. Titman can pull.
yep,
Vera Tucker can pull. Or if we do RPO or even like just sweeps with Brees, you have Titman and AVT pulling. Bro, we had none of that. Keith Carter did none of that.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
when we drafted Titman, every single highlight I saw was him pulling and just mauling guys outside of the hashes. We did zero of it. So your boy Lamont got some points.
Yeah, and again, just being able to say, well, why the hell can't it finally be us? Yeah, see, Rich knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like, why can't it? And at some point, it has to be, right? Murph hit it earlier. Last year, we did not have a burner. We potentially have that right now with Arian Smith. Like I was telling you guys during the draft, I was hyped in regards about him. I know a lot of people didn't know too much about Arian Smith, but I was like, yo, the dude is fast. Like fast. He just had Carson Beck, who sucks, and couldn't get him the damn ball like that in a stride. But we'll see. It's gonna take the coaching because coaching matters, and we did not have that shit last year, and we don't know what the coaching staff is this year too. So that's why I'm like, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And Mason Taylor, you're right. He could be the other guy that's going to be blocking, and there's just so much potential, right? And then I'm hoping that this damn coaching staff this year, when it's 3rd and inches, 3rd and 1, you got a big ass dude in Agent Zero, give him the fucking ball, and extend the damn plays, man. Like, why not?
Or tush push it, but do not give it to Brees.
Exactly. It's not that it shouldn't be that difficult, right? Hopefully, time management should be a lot better this year. Hopefully, we're not going to get those penalties that we were getting with Aaron Rodgers last year. I mean, that was a big shit that we were constantly getting, bro. It was the clock was going down to 1, and he has not hiked the ball. He's still trying to get people in position because he just switched it all over again. I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like there's a lot more upside for this team because you're right. I think Daniel, you said it. We shouldn't have that record shouldn't have reflected on what on paper we had as a team, and so I don't know, man.
Dude,
It's tough.
it's largely the same team. You just going from like old and mature at the head to young and athletic. And honestly, the rest of the team might do better with young and athletic if there is creative play calling and some accountability.
Yep.
Let's do it. Murph, talk to me. Where are you at? Because as Scott, there's some hopium in the chat. Johnny is positive as well. I'm a little dialed, reserved, but talk to me.
I totally get the sentiment. Like last year, it should have been better. Like, dude, nobody was guessing that we're winning 5 games last year, right? Nobody thought that. I'm included in that, man. Like, I wasn't quite at the Johnny Boy level of 17-0, but I was at a solid fucking 12-5, maybe even a 13-4. Like, I was up there, man. Nobody expected that. But, in retrospect, It wasn't perfect. Like they fucked up at DT2, right? Signing Javon Kinlaw thinking they're going to unlock him because he's got chemistry with Sala and there's a reason they drafted him, whatever. And in reality they just needed like a Fadu Kasi type player there, man. That's what they needed. Then Jermaine Johnson goes down. You fuck up the situation with Hassan Reddick, never even get him in the building until like what was it, like week 6, 7? Like I don't know, it was late. And he's not even like the strongest run defender anyway. And so like Jermaine Johnson was like your run defending edge. That was your guy. Like obviously he can pass rush too. I'm just saying, but like he was like you got rid of JFM, and then Jermaine Johnson goes down, and you didn't get like a Fadu Kasi in the interior. So therefore, run defense is right off the bat gone to shit after week 1. They fucked that up on the roster. Like Joe Douglas, I thought Joe Douglas was a good GM. Like I'm not saying he was perfect. He made his mistakes. He definitely fucked that up. And then there's just other things. Like it's like we started grasping for straws and traded for Devontae Adams, and like that worked out, but did it work out? I don't know. I don't know that won us any games. I mean, we only won 5 games anyway. So, it's just like, did that really even work out? If anything, it felt like it hindered Garrett. So I don't know, man. Like they didn't make perfect decisions. The coaching wasn't great. And whenever shit started to roll downhill, it just snowballed, man. It became an avalanche. And then, a team that had so much potential in the beginning of the season ended up by the end of the season just being a shitstorm. Like it was just everything had gone downhill and everybody's confidence was down. Players that were better than what they are were playing like they were playing worse than what they would, like DJ Reed. Like we know DJ Reed's a good corner, right? But like second half of the season, he wasn't really. Like he was, there's just a lot of that going on with the team, and I don't know. It's just that's a confidence thing. I preach confidence all the time in professional sports. Like it's hugely important that these players are confident. If they're not confident in themselves, if they're not confident in their coaches, they're never going to make it, man. They're never going to make it where they want to make it to, and they're never going to win these games. So when shit starts to roll downhill, if you don't have the right coaching staff in there to turn it around, or the right GM to make some like mid-season moves to get things back on track, you're going to have that, dude. Like that's just how it is. So we didn't have the right staff in here last year.
No, we
and
didn't.
we fucked up a few things in the off season prior to the season. In a season where we really all thought we were going to win, dude, you don't let a JFM go. Like you don't, and I don't want to do all this retrospect stuff, but we're talking, if we're going to talk about last year, I'm going to talk about it. Like that's one move that you don't. If we had JFM last year, losing Jermaine Johnson wouldn't have hurt near as bad.
He might not even have been out there for that rep. Like
exactly. Like maybe JFM goes down that rep, and then we're like, well, hey, we still got Jermaine Johnson. I mean, I do.
Bro,
did he cost that much to Denver to where we couldn't have made that work? I just, oh man, there was mistakes made. The team had a lot of potential still, even with the mistakes made, and then shit rolled downhill right off the bat, and it never. It's hard to stop an avalanche, man.
Dude, you're right, bro. Like, fuck, man, dude. Last year, like the excitement going into it, and with everything going on, I was, bro. I think I said like 14 wins last year, because if we broke down the damn record last year. We broke the whole season, and we were like, yo, we should fucking win. But I really believe that JFM won't hurt, man. So, yo, shout out to Jake, though, man. Like, he got me bricked up right now. I already know what time it is. Nah, you know what? What has me bricked up?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe we were bricked up when we made that JFM decision. You know,
Yo, dude, you remember? That's
Rick
what I'm
Johnson.
saying. Like, God, all them slogans, bro. All gas, no brakes. The Crows, like, then Brick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were hoping and praying that maybe he was gonna turn it around at that point where Salah got fired, and it's just a fucking dumpster fire, man.
And Wudi mentioned how Rodgers really got beat up in that Minnesota game. I think it was week 5. But if you don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but was week 4 Denver? Or was that week 6? There was, regardless, Denver, Minnesota, back to back, literally killed the guy. And yes, he recaptured some of it later on, but bro, it was cooked by then. And that's what I mean about running it back. Like, I think our quarterback position did improve solely because last year he had no idea what to expect each Sunday. Did Rodgers heal up enough? Is he going to come out like week 3 again? Or is he going to come out like Arizona? There was way too many Arizonas, man. I don't believe that Fields is going to have games like Arizona because he can just say, my arm isn't doing it today. Let me just go get 55 yards rushing when we need it, and Garrett can carry me. So that's why I think, like, maybe, and Woody did say that, our ceiling won't be as high at the quarterback position, but I think our floor is going to be way higher this year. And it's about time we leaned on our foundational pieces to carry the team.
Exactly.
Zach couldn't do it. Aaron couldn't do it. Fucking, I don't even know who we trotted out there. That Simeon couldn't do it. Mike White. Fields.
Boyle.
Yeah, Boyle. God damn, man. Boyle.
Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Should I keep going?
No. I'm like, until we take the franchise guy, I want to go ceiling and I want to go long term. With Fields, I just want the high floor, tailor the offense around him, Garrett, Brees, O-line, and just play smart, bruising football.
Dane, I actually disagree. We agree on so much, Dane. I actually disagree with that, buddy. I feel like Fields is the high ceiling player because he has all the athleticism. He has an electric arm. Like, the dude can chuck it, you know? It's just the matter of getting the little shit right. Like, let's not spend 8 seconds in the backfield trying to make a decision, you know? Where Aaron Rodgers was like, hey, if it's not there, then, you know, it's not there, whatever. Throw it away, we'll do whatever, you know? So I felt like Aaron Rodgers, like, had a high floor but a low ceiling at this point because he's older. He doesn't get to run around like he used to as much and things like that. So to me, I got it in my mind. I have it the other way around.
But how can you,
higher floor but lower ceiling? Justin Fields, if the dude catches fire and he gets his confidence up and he starts slinging that thing, dude, he could be dangerous out there.
let me ask you something, rebuttal real quick.
Okay.
Are you judging it on paper versus paper? Because, like, I feel like you watched last year. Bro, Aaron's floor was way down, way more than anything.
I think last year was basically Aaron's floor. Like, I think he's going to have a similar season to last year, this season with the Steelers.
Even though, like, 8 of his
But
games
that's
were
what,
wasted
30, what was it,
with
30,
swollen knees.
How many yards did he have? 3,700 or something? I don't know. Like, that's kind of a high floor, you know. But I think that is his floor. But I don't think he gets much better than that at this age, you know. But where Fields could throw for 2,200 yards with another 600 rushing, you know, and be underwhelming as hell and take 54 sacks or whatever, you know. Or Fields could throw for 45 or he could have 45 touchdowns between throwing and running and have 3,700 yards and 1,000 rushing and just be lighting the league up, dude. I just that in my mind, I think that Fields has a higher ceiling and lower floor.
This is going to be a whole nother show, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Yeah.
throw them goddamn stats. Wipe your ass with them, man. I'm using the eye test alone.
Okay.
Well,
That's all.
let me ask you guys this then, right? When Fields was in Chicago, did he have better wide receivers in Chicago than he does now with the Jets? Or would you say it's even, or it was way better over there with Chicago? Because the only person that I could think of that was a wide receiver over there, Moore, DJ Moore, maybe.
He wasn't there while Fields was there.
Okay, so then, like,
Right?
who were the wide receivers that he had in Chicago?
DJ Chark. He had help us out, chat.
Yeah,
Who
Cole
were
Kmet. Oh, I can think of, dude. Like
His last year,
Uh,
because
see
that's
it?
when the line got better. When
you got me stumped there, Johnny. They might be all bums, dude. You got me stumped.
I wish I had the analytics too on how often Fields even targets wide receiver two, because like everybody wants to knock us for not having one. As long as your wide receiver one can carry the load for both spots, it might not matter. But then you got like bracket coverage and shit that will happen on D, and it's gonna be interesting. But chat, if you know who Fields' wide receiver core was in Chicago, help us out because
Okay. So I guess he did have DJ Moore, I think, for 1 year.
the last year, right?
Yeah, the last year, and he also had Darnell Mooney, who was a solid slot guy, right? And then Chase Claypool, but I think that was just one of those like he was bouncing around the league at that point in time. Equanimous St. Brown, and so really not a whole lot. I think there might have been like a Trent Taylor in there maybe, but yeah. So I don't know. DJ Moore is a stud,
Of
right?
course, I agree.
Like that's a to me like that's at the way Garrett Wilson's career is looking right now, he is like DJ Moore.
So,
He's a good receiver. He's a really good receiver, but he's never taken that step because he never has a fucking quarterback to do it with.
So the DJ Moore, right? I want to say the DJ Moore was the last year that he was there before he was traded, or whatever happened to Fields, right?
Yeah.
I want to say that was, and that's what Cole Kmet was there too, and everything. So he has some guys, which I believe his passing yardage and numbers were up a lot more, and his rushing yards went down, and they try to help out that line itself. So again, like it's a big unknown with this dude, man. Like he was given crap, and he had crap, and he had to make a freaking sculpture out of crap, like with a shitty line too. At that, it's again. I think Fields knows this is probably his last like hurrah that he needs to excel at that, and I think he knows that. And I think the Jets have put a team and are putting him in a position that is a lot better than what he had when he was in Chicago. I think a lot better than what he had within Pittsburgh, because I don't believe Pittsburgh really wanted the dude. Like I had friends that are Pittsburgh fanatics and all that and have some ends, and my understanding was it was ownership that was all about Russell Wilson and wanting that vet in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I think me and Dane can both attest to that. We were literally at the Pittsburgh Jets game last year, and that's when Russell came back. And every Steelers fan before the game started was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, everybody was, but it ended up working out for him. But at least that game. But yeah, I don't know to say that like Fields still underwhelmed in Chicago. Um, Even whenever like his passing numbers were up supposedly. Like it still was not great, man. I do want to say, like Dane, he said it in the chat a little bit ago. It it hinges just as much, if not more, on Engstrand than it does Fields. Like that was an excellent point because we see this shit around the league. We see quarterbacks that were less than stellar that would go elsewhere and would catch fire, like we saw with Sam Darnold. You know, I mean, we saw Geno Smith went to a proper organization that, you know, a half decent offensive coordinator, whatever. Like you see every quarterback that goes to the fucking Vikings plays well. Like it's crazy. It's just because like they have an offensive system that works. You know, they have that coach, and like he's calling plays. He's developing these creative schemes that work, and he also has the person. You know, I mean, it helps having the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. But I'm just saying, like, if you at least have a coordinator that gets it, like they can make a quarterback look good whether he actually is or not a lot of the time.
Agreed 100% on it. I mean, I think if I'm going to be honest with you, man, I think Aaron Glenn put a lot of pressure on Tanner when he pretty much was like the real mastermind behind the offense of Detroit was Tanner. He was the one that was really drawing everything up and giving it to Ben Johnson. Is that true? Is he just saying that because he's over here now with us and everything? I don't know. It's a giant question mark, you know, but they had Jared Goff looking like that dude last year. He was in the runs for winning MVP of the league at one point when he was literally going to be outed out of the NFL. So who knows?
Can we get, dude? There was a time, like I think it was literally a year ago, we just drafted Braylon Allen, and we saw him and Brees together, and we said it a million times on this channel, man. Can we just do what Detroit does with Montgomery and Gibbs, with Brees
100%.
and Braylon? And honestly, we watched it unfold, and if they had, it would have really worked. But they were stupid. Like some of the shit they did in the first 6 weeks with our running game was just pathetic. The only thing that scares me is like I don't want to fall for the same trap twice, thinking do it this way and it's going to work, and then they just don't even do it that way. I'd like to know what the offense is going to look like really bad, man, because I do see there's way if they just utilize our strengths, man, sky could be the limit with this defense.
I wanted to say, like, when you were saying that, like, I still believe that. Like, I haven't given up on that idea, that vision of Jameer Gibbs, like what they call him, Sonic and Knuckles, right? Like, I still believe in that vision for those two. I really do. Hopefully, Engstrand can make that come to life. But I got to run real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
Man, all this talk about poop and sculptures, and then now we're talking. He's got to run. You want to do runs? Like,
Hey, can I say something real quick?
go ahead, man.
Yo, that Alonzo jersey in the background is fresh as F, dude. Like I wasn't trying to curse, but you know that shit is dope, bro. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on. Oh, nice. But yeah, that Alonzo jersey is dope, man. He's blowing mud. And
My bad. I got
you're good.
I got some refreshments to nibble on, dude. The chat's popping off. You got takes. The call-in line's pinned, man. If anybody wants to call in, Murph will be back. We're just chilling.
Yeah. But you're right, man. I didn't even think about the fact that the average on our line right now is that big. And they're not like real giant fat dudes that just don't move or nothing like that. Like the cats are athletic, man. So that's what I'm
It,
saying, man. Like,
and guess what? They're together again. It's not the first year.
yeah, the only one is Membu, right? Yes, Snowball, of course.
Yes, yes, of course, for
Dude,
sure.
what's the front of it look like?
Oh, it's a DH gate special.
Bro, that joint is fire, dog.
It was like one of the Jake Asman $30 ones. So,
Yeah, bro.
but it just doesn't have like the side patches or whatever, you know.
Bro, you could
But
just order those
correct,
and just I'm joints. Oh,
bro. You
see,
know,
I thought it was I thought it was a different color, and then
uh,
once you pull it up over here, because I didn't see that, I didn't see the. It looks different over there. I was like, damn, that shit's dope.
um, dude, the Mets though, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, fucking dude, it's 6 games already, man, and like the bullpen, bro. It's that was the whole conversation, right? This offseason was the bullpen, and they were surprising us. And then I think after Kadai went or Sengo, I always pronounce his first name wrong, but after he goes down, just everything went, and it's just not one. It's like just the bats, they're not there right now, right? The pitching, not there right now.
Dude, it's crazy because like the guys hitting aren't the guys you'd expect. Like right now, Alonso's not hitting, Lindor, Soto. Like Soto will get you some walks, but Alonso will get you strikeouts. Um, but the guys that like Hageman was it today?
Mm-hmm.
Um, he looked all right, but he could only go 3 innings and then got in trouble or whatever. But the big thing is like the last 7 games combined
Yeah.
outscored 37-10.
And I think Nemo was the one that said it. Like, and it's the truth. Dude, the Braves could be crap, but when it comes to playing the Mets, is like they step it up every single time. And then now we got the Philly series coming out, which we're on right now. And we lost today, right? Alonso hit a homer though, but then we're just like it's the Phillies now. So, take this dude off, bro. Yo,
Dude,
why?
I feel so bad for Paul Skeens every time
Yeah,
Murph does that.
I can't wait till he comes to the Mets.
At least they won't waste his talent.
Oh man.
I don't
But
know.
nah, but Murph, man, like it's you guys are right, man, and I'm actually one of the few that's kind of like high on Stevens, man, on the potential that could be there. Like, yeah, I understand he had a off year last year, but my understanding was again going back into the scheme and all that, right? He's more of a press dude, and I think they had him more out as a zone, and he just looked like completely lost out there. So, can he be better with us? I don't fucking know. We don't know, but the potential's there, and the safety stuff, man.
Well, he's the type of corner that they're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they want like those like long lanky corners. Like I don't know. They want guys that can play press, and play it well. So maybe he'll fit in there well. I don't know, man. It's hard to tell.
And what about the dude from that was in the CFL and everything that came with that? Like, I feel bad for him, dude. Shit, I can't even think of his name. It's Nate's guy, man. The other corner that we have,
Stiggers.
Stiggers. There we go. Yep. Like,
What's up, baby?
what's
Murphy, what's up, baby?
Dane.
Murphy, what's up, baby?
what is?
All right, come on.
Hell yeah. I mean, hey, Murph.
There was a shout out to Gorman in the chat, so I felt the need to pull the one clip I had readily available. Murphy, what's up, baby? Charles
What's up,
has.
baby?
Here's the thing. So I try to not do the same thing everybody else does, and Charles is very entertaining on a lot of other shows. You don't get a lot of Jets takes out of him or sports takes. I mean, you might peppered in, but when he comes here, we try to keep him dialed up on sports, man, and he's one of our best callers when it comes to
He comes
sports
in and
takes.
crushes it.
He literally does, man, because he knows like it's a safe space for him, and he just kills it. Now the chat gives him some shit, but we don't, and he's keyed up, man. So no, he's never farted on this show, at least maybe an SBD, but he still made it in the danger zone. Johnny, you were
Yo,
gonna say something?
yeah, I wanted to ask you guys this real quick, and it's being talked a lot, right? So I was like, yo, I got to know your guys' response in regards to this. So it's in regards to CJ Mosley and his retirement. As soon as you retired, right, there were people calling for this guy to be Ring of Honor Jets, like off jump. I'm one of the few. Well, no, I'm not one of the few. There's a lot of individuals that don't believe he should be in the Ring of Honor because there's a lot of other guys that are out
Johnny?
that.
Oh boy. All right. Continue.
Clip it.
So my question is, do you guys believe he should be in the Ring of Honor? Yes or no? I already see Hazel
All right.
think.
So luckily I live on the entire other side of the US. So I can speak my opinion. Dan, you better be careful, buddy. I'm going to say that CJ Mosley does not need to be on the Ring of Honor. I think that the Ring of Honor should be a very secluded few people, right? Like, and obviously as time goes on, the list grows, but also people die too. Um, so I'm just saying that, like, Mosley, I love what he did for us. I love the attitude he brought. I love the culture that he brought. CJ Mosley is always going to hold a place right here in my heart. Do it. There it is. Yep. CJ Mosley always going to hold a place in my heart. I just don't think that he was quite at that level to where we're like making him a Ring of Honor guy. Like the guys that need to probably like linebackers in the past that need to be Ring of Honors, like Mo Lewis and guys like that. Like those dudes were legit studs, and CJ Mosley was too, but like not quite to that level and not for as long of a period of time, right? Like he's still like half a Raven or a third of a Raven at least. You know what I mean? And he would have had to have really made an impact, and like we would have had to have like made at least like an AFC championship or something like for us to really like consider that heavily. I just can't put him there quite yet. I think that Mosley is a player that I'm always going to look back on with fond memories. Like I don't know that I got him in that category of guys like that we're going to like honor him forever and retire 57 and do. No, we're not doing all that. Be careful, Dan.
There's a couple things, and hey, this is a safe space for Charles. It better be for me.
The camera is
yeah.
place.
Yeah, it's outside this box, right? First off, he was only here for 5 years, man. If he played every single down in 5 years, I would probably pitch for ROH for old Mosley. But
Shout out to
Two
the old
years
ROH.
that, bro, amen. The OG one, oh yeah, that was a special moment. The 2 years though, I think we might have needed him most. He wasn't available, and that's the part that rubs me. The first year, and that's not his fault. Or
No.
actually, the first year he played 2 games in 2019. 2020 he played 0. We could have used him those years, man. We could have. We were just setting up our defense. Um, but then last year, man, it's rough. Sherwood was great, but like he wasn't like he did need time. Like we threw him into the Mike linebacker role, and he was calling the defense. He did exceptional, but I don't know. Just again, we talked about it earlier in the show. As good as that defense was, I feel bad we couldn't win more games because had we had a quarterback not named Zach Wilson, this might be an entirely different argument. But for now, I can't do it.
On the same boat, man. Like, I think for me, I'm gonna remember CJ Mosley for two things: being injured and coaching up Sherwood and Quincy. Like, that's what I'm gonna remember CJ Mosley for. Do I love CJ Mosley? Yes, I do. I think what he brought to that room is what was needed to be able to. Because remember, I mean, Quincy, that dude was let go from the Jags, and then he was brought on over here, and he excelled learning under CJ. I just again, man, it's one of those where I feel like the Ring of Honor. There's a lot of other guys that are out there that are not in yet that should be. I mean, and Murph just said one was Mo Lewis. Mo Lewis, unfortunately, he's mostly known for jump starting the career of Brady, but he was a monster of a Jet when he was with us. Doesn't get talked about. Uh, I mean, Hitman Harris. We could keep going on and on and on and on and on in regards to it, but I can't, like let CJ Mosley come back to the Jets as a coach in something, right? And then let him come and become a Ring of Honor guy that way type of thing. Because at least then he's been rocking with us for so long. I think the biggest difference between him and being a Raven and a Jet is 1 year. And that's it.
Yeah.
Here's the
I
other thing I want to let me ask you something, Murph and Johnny. Does the fact that had he been capable of passing a physical, he would likely be a Raven this year, leave as bad a taste in your mouth about adding him to our Ring of Honor than it did had you not known that?
That's tough. That is tough because initial reaction, I'm like, ugh, you know, like I don't like to hear that. But at the same time, if I put myself in his shoes, he's got two teams in his heart. The team that drafted him, you can't forget the team that drafts you, right? Every player always mentions like, hey, I even if they did nothing for that team and they had instantly got traded or cut like midway through the season or something like that, you hear these like Hall of Fame speeches, and I appreciate the so and so for giving me the chance because that's what opened the door for him. So the Ravens, that's the team that opened the door for C.J. Mosley.
True.
So he's got two teams in his heart, man. And he did a lot better with one of them than he did the other one. So I can't be mad at the guy for that. Like if he had a chance to maybe get like one last year out as like a veteran leader, maybe in sub packages he plays or gets some 30% of the reps or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't blame him if he did that. But my stance was that he's not a Ring of Honor member regardless. Um, I think that I don't know, man. Mosley was a good dude. I have fond memories of him and like a positive outlook on CJ Mosley. And the thing that really bothers me the most is like Oscar mentioned it in the chat earlier, like the Bills legacy game, like his first game as a Jet.
A what have could have been type of thing. I know.
Well, dude, I don't know if I even with him leaving the game, like in the third quarter or whatever. I don't know if I've ever seen a game from a linebacker that was that impactful. Like the dude was playing with his hair on fire, like he was killing it, and it's just like the if, like you mentioned the woulda coulda shoulda Johnny, like the if, like if he didn't get injured that year, holy shit, man, like we may have a different outlook on CJ Mosley, and I already have a positive outlook on him. If he had kept that momentum that year, whoo, I mean,
So Ablab is saying like Ring of Honors is only for players that were drafted by the Jets. That's not true because there are some players that are on there that were not drafted by the New York Jets, and the one that comes straight to my mind is Curtis Martin. So you know what I'm saying? So like to Murph's point of what he was just talking about, I mean, yeah, bro, like if he would have done more and he was one of the main reasons why we broke the playoff curse and all that. It's a conversation to be talked about. But I would still push back and be like, over Mo Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just other.
We're still waiting for Wayne Corbett to get in there, man.
That's what I mean. Like, and the reason I say those defensive players because because CJ plays defense and all that, but there's so many more that deserve it. Like Al Toon's not even in there, and it was Al Toon.
he is. Alton's in there.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm actually looking it up right now. That's how I know, because I didn't know that off the top of my head.
Gotcha. It's. I think for me, it's a no. Like it, and I love CJ, so
it's Joe
there he
Namath,
is.
Chris Martin, Don Maynard, Joe Klecko, Mark Gastineau, Winston Hill, Weeb Eubank, Leon Hess, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Nick Mangold, Larry Grantham, Freeman McNeil, Jerry Philbin, Al Toon, Wesley Walker, Darrell Revis, and Marty Lyons.
Marty Lyons. Boom.
Oh, you pulled it up. Why didn't you say shut up, Murph?
I thought you were. I thought you were reading what he was going out.
I was reading it off my phone, dude.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Like I literally had.
Nah, cause you were like literally going name for name, and he was scrolling down as you're saying that. So I thought you were reading that because I was looking at that. That's funny.
Dane loves
but
burn.
Hey, dude, it's when we've been doing this a while, all three of us even. But like, what bothers me about like same, it's an adjacent conversation, but like we have guys that jersey numbers we won't issue, but we also won't retire them.
Wayne.
Like, yeah, I don't get it. And then 24 now too, I believe, or am I wrong on 24?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, like shit or get off the pot. 28. Why are you holding them? Like, what are you holding them for? A home playoff game to do it? I don't know.
Could be me. I mean, dude, yeah, Wayne, like that one hurts, bro. And every single year I'm like, this will be the year. This will be the year. This will be the year. And nothing. I remember Robbie.
The Wikipedia is saying that he's in there. If you're talking about Wayne Corbett.
What we're talking about, I think we're talking about right now is retiring his jersey number.
Oh yeah, that I don't know why they're doing that. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Is Wayne in there though? In
It's
the Ring of Honor?
yeah. The Wikipedia said he was in there since like 2014.
Bring it back up, Dana. Before
Pat Lit
Well,
and at the
he was not on the list, so it was either a bad AI or yeah, I don't know. I can tell you whose jersey numbers are retired though. It's Namath, Maynard, 12 and 13, 28, 73, and 90. But like I said, that's not the problem. It's the problem that we're squirreling away numbers and doing nothing with them that rubs me the wrong way.
you know what rubs me the wrong way? And Murph kind of said it.
Nothing.
No, but the speech, and I think about the Hall of Fame speech that Darrell Rivas said, and he mentions the Patriots in there. Ah, dude, that was like, I was like, that one hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I love Darrell Rivas, but that one hurt. And I need to say this real quick. Fuck Tom Brady. I don't know if you guys saw. Yeah. Yeah.
He had himself a day, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That dude, bro. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Tom Brady, like, so cringily, forcibly tried to go viral like 5 different times today. I don't know if he did, considering, of course, he's going to get a million views no matter what he does. He's taking a shit, he's going to get a million views. But, like, one, he was walking down a runway, and this was so obvious, but he stole a Sauce Gardner jersey off of a fan's out of their hands, and he threw it on the ground and spit on it. And then he spun around and grabbed an Eli Manning jersey off of another fan, and he tore it in half, which it must have been planned, obviously. But yeah, he was just acting a fool. Eli, I think, came out too after that, but Sauce, did you see Sauce's tweet, Johnny?
Yeah. He said, "What did I do to pitch you?" or something like that.
He sent the 50 Cent, like, what the fuck did I do? Fuck me. What?
No, that
Sauce is funny, man.
yeah. Did they even play each other? Like maybe the first Sauce's rookie year? No.
I don't think so. I think he was already gone.
Well, when he was in Tampa, they played though.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, because what's his name picked him off, the depth guy that we lost this year.
Bryce Hall?
Eccles?
Eccles picked him off, I think, in that game.
Eccles went to San Fran?
Tampa?
I'm not sure. Not sure where Eccles went. I'm still trying to figure out the mystery of Wayne Corbett, because it says he's in there on his Wikipedia, but then the Wikipedia for the Jets Ring of Honor doesn't have him in there. So it's like, what?
Oh, he went to the Steelers.
Oh, okay. You beat me to it. Gotcha.
Damn, man, that shit was. Man. He's on it, bro. Ah, fuck, dude. The season's so close, man. Like, I'm getting. Like today, I was looking at merch because there's some stuff that's coming out, and I'm like, damn, this shit looks nice, man. Like,
nope, I'm not doing it,
dude. They came.
I'm taking a hiatus. I am not buying any more merch until we fucking make the playoffs.
Dude, they came down. They came out with this like beige looking fitted that just came out, and I was like, oh, this looks fuego, man. I'm trying not to.
Well, you got to see with stuff like that. You got to ask yourself, will you still wear it if we go 2-14? If the
Yeah.
answer is yes, then go ahead and buy it, man. But if
Yeah.
you're only gonna wear shit like that, if we're doing well, maybe wait and see if we're gonna do well. That's all.
Bro, you know my teams, man. I'm Jets, Mets, Knicks, and Rangers, man. So we're yeah. So
Yeah, I know, dude. It's just which one's gonna win it all first?
the Mets, I would say. I mean, it's just the Mets, bro. Like they almost did it last year with a way less, not as talented team. I mean, people crap on Soto and all that, but bro, them walks, you can't. I love that he gets walked and he gets on base because that's just another run for us to go ahead and do. And then when these guys are all hitting, dude, I'm old school, bro. So I love contact baseball. Just put the ball in play, man, and just keep it going. Next man up, next man up, next man up. Like, and it's what made last year's Mets so magical, bro. Because they could be losing 7-1, and it's the bottom of the ninth, and them dudes will score 8 and win it off a walk off type of shit. So like, is it stupid of me to watch all the way towards the end, knowing that 'cause even tonight, bro, I was watching it all the way to the end because I was like, we could still win, we could still win, we could still win. And it didn't happen. Zach Wheeler is a monster though, but that's something different.
If you would have asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd have probably said the Rangers. If you'd have asked me last year, I'd have said the Knicks. But now I think Johnny's probably right. It's the Mets. With the Knicks, it's like the coach, like them getting rid of the coach and stuff. Like I don't know.
If we're gonna cement this take, never change it again, I'm gonna vote Knicks.
Okay.
Just because they needed something different, and I don't think that coaching change is gonna be as bad as I think I hope it'll be like the Glenn hire where it's like, all right, let's button some shit up and run it back. Maybe trade this for that, and that's it. Mets have a strong case too. You guys aren't crazy, but the Dodgers just scare the fuck out of me, man. Especially since I watched Otani pitch the other day. It was just one inning, but bro throws gas.
But yeah, but we took the series from them. That's what I'm
We
saying.
did. We
Like
gave it. I mean, we. Here's the thing. You want to. You did say last year we were right there. We also had a magical run. Think we're gonna do that again?
I think so, man. I really do. Like once we get our guys back and being healthy, and that bullpen figures it out, I'd rather them do what they're doing now than it be way later on. Like get all the kinks, see what's going on, right? Alvi, like I think Alvi is just still trying to figure it all back out from coming back from being injured, you know. But at some point, they're gonna have to decide and make that tough decision. But I think Alvi is the one that is the better catcher over Torrens. So it's like this, man. Like it goes up and down for me in regards to all of it. Oh, look at this fucking loser. Did you see this, Murph?
Let me know if you can hear this.
I didn't watch the video. I did see a post about it though, and yeah.
Dude thinks he's Cody Rhodes.
It froze up for me. Oh, there it goes. That's got to be why. Yeah, dude, Tom Brady's always been a dickhead.
Yeah,
Like
man.
seriously, like he's always been. I can't stand that motherfucker.
I hear you. I'm on the same boat, man. Fuck. That shit just like I hope somebody sees him and just roundhouse kicks the shit out of his butt chin, bro.
Yeah,
Fucking dude, bro. That dude.
surgery ass chin anyway.
Even on that roast, like he had to throw in the Jets, bro. You know that fucker, man. He should be kissing that fucking jersey because it was us who gave him that opportunity to be the GOAT. Fucker.
Yeah, I just wish that he would like pull a Brunson and just fade away. Like,
Yeah, I like that one.
bro, like, bro, just you're not. Like I said, I feel like he's trying to be some kind of like TikTok viral star now, trying to stay relevant. Like, bro, you have a $50 million or $500 million deal in a booth. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That fucker, man. That dude gets just joked because he let his karate teacher take his wife. Fuck that guy, bro.
That's low, but fuck Tom Brady. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I hope that gets clipped too.
If you are one of wow, dude, we had 10 in here. Now we have 16. So they must like the slander of Tom Brady, bro.
Yeah, fuck that dude, bro.
If you are in here, yeah, I know we got some influx of new guys. Hey, new guys and gals. Spike that like button. One thing I didn't mention this week, Solomon Thomas got engaged, and Jermaine Johnson did. Any thoughts on that?
I didn't see the I didn't see the Solomon Thomas engagement post, but I did see the Jermaine Johnson one, and all I have to say is, well done, sir.
I will have to second Murph's take on that. Very well done.
Okay, here's a question. If you could take over the life of one New York Jet and live the rest of it with their skill set, their mind, who is your one choice?
That's easy for me, bro. Number 12, dog, because I definitely would have been on that game Monday night talking about I could care less about the New York Jets. I want to kiss you, baby.
You would you no, I
I
mean
think he,
you would
I,
help me out, Daniel.
I think he meant like current Jets, not like.
Oh, my bad, my bad. All right.
I probably would go Jermaine Johnson, honestly.
Man, I think I would probably go. I'd probably go Quinnen, man. Like I love that position, bro. So I think Q would be the one for me because why not?
Tough one. I'm torn between two guys that are both about to get a bag. That doesn't factor into it. I'll go Sauce.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm already shaped like him,
Okay, that makes sense for you.
minus the muscles.
So does Ice Spice mess him up this year?
I hope not. Hopefully, he got
Uh,
the venom out and he's good to go now.
Chat, let's hear from you. I know Hayes had a take on the Ice Spice Sauce conundrum. I think if I remember her take, mine's similar. Like, I have a feeling that they'll be good for each other. Because, like, not one or the other is more dominant. Like they're kind of like a Jay-Z Beyonce thing going on.
So let me ask you this then, real quick. And this is for both of you guys. If you had a choice to hang out with a couple, would you go with Ice Spice with Sauce, or do you go T Swift and Kelsey, and why? Take your Jets fandom out of it, though. Murph? The
Murph, you
suspense.
gonna break it off?
The suspense is
Oh,
killing me.
that's a tough question. I don't know. Taylor Swift probably feels like she would be a bore to hang out with. I've no idea of Ice Spice's personality. I think she's overrated as like a lot of people think she's super hot. I don't think she's that hot. Um,
I'm with
not
you.
that really matters when you're just like chilling. And then it just becomes Sauce versus Kelsey. Kelsey has really annoyed me the last few years. Um, but before that, I kind of thought that he'd be a pretty cool guy, and his brother's cool as shit. Like Jason's cool, so he might be fun to hang out with. I don't know. Sauce is real chill. He's very calculated. Like I almost feel like if you hung out with Sauce, like he would hold back. Like I don't know if he can bullshit with the boys. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like he's very calculated and he makes sure that he says the right things and stuff. So I don't even know if it would be that fun to hang out with Sauce. But Sauce games, so that would be kind of cool. I
You know
guess.
what?
But I don't
They're like two different generations, aren't they?
yeah, that's how they feel. Yeah. Uh, that is a tough one.
Johnny, great question, Johnny.
Yeah, you got me stumped here, Johnny. I don't know. I would probably. I think the safe bet is to hang out with Sauce and Ice Spice.
Okay. They know.
Hands down, Sauce and Ice Spice for me. And I obviously I think it's a personal preference thing. I think what Murph said first was the most strong in my mind, and that's that Taylor Swift would probably be a bore. If you can sell me that Ice Spice can like take me to the studio and show me like she's laying down some tracks or something, that would be exciting as hell for me. I would love to see her rap. Just from like a
Dude, I would drop the
creativity.
car.
Yeah, dude.
I
And then
would
you're telling me Sauce, you're gonna go and show me gaming and shit. I'll game with you. You streaming or whatever. Like that would be a hell of a time. What would Taylor Swift and Kelsey have in store for me? I don't know, but the other two, I got ideas.
I would have to go with T Swift and Kelsey, just off the sense that T Swift is a billionaire. So we could essentially do so much shit, right, with these two individuals within a week. Like I could be in, I don't know, the Maldives like for 2 days, and then out of nowhere, we're in Tokyo just going insane. So gonna have to go that, because I mean you got Kelsey that you know is going to party and party hard. I mean you saw what the stuff he got into when he was in college and got all in trouble.
He's
So
a lot older than that now, though. He's probably chilled out a little bit, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be real exciting. Like you're going to do all kinds of different things. Like Taylor Swift's going to get like a caramel frappuccino instead of a vanilla sugar chino or whatever
I mean, I like caramel
Is
though.
is that a euphemism?
No, no, dude, no, I ain't got that much thought to put into it. Um, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's actually an interesting couple because he does seem more outlandish than she
Hmm.
does. Maybe they suit each other well. And then Sauce is pretty reserved. I don't really know a lot about Ice Spice, though. I can't even pretend.
And then the final question to this entire question, the final piece of it, right?
This segment, yeah.
Would you have thought in June you would have had a question being asked to you about Ice Spice and Sauce or chilling with Kelsey and T Swift? Thoughts?
By the way, the other point I wanted to make is that they're all fucking rich, dude. Like, I understand that Taylor Swift is like super rich, but like they're all rich. Like, if they wanted to go to the Maldives one week and then to Tokyo the next, they can all do it. Promise you that they have the money to do it. So I don't know that that money thing makes a difference. And that actually did not surprise me at all because Johnny Boy likes to come in and hit us with these random ass questions sometimes. So
You know what? Anytime I hear about Swifty though, like I miss VR. That dude had the strongest Swifty anti Swifty takes I've ever seen. Like, uh, I don't know what he's got going on. I've talked to him like once, but I'm just saying, like his presence, the presence I remember from him, uh, that's key. Is it's missed. So
I
if you're out
was
there, come back, brother.
I was very anti Swifty back when she was like country because I can't stand country and especially like her type of country was awful. Like
I like country music, man.
really? Oh man, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And I like so I'm a lyrical guy, right? And a lot of the country songs that are out there, I mean, I'm talking about like old school country music. I'm not talking about like Florida Georgia line crap and T Swift and all that stuff. So
I was really about to bust your balls hard, Johnny.
yeah, so I'm not talking about that. Like
I'm a lyrical guy. I like country. Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, spit.
hell yeah.
That I resonate so hardly with that. Yeah, great lyrics, buddy.
Hey man, dude, when you hear some of them old songs, bro, talking about you just got off of work, all you want to go do is have a whiskey and chill on your back porch and do some fishing. You can relate to it, man.
You know what? The country I like the most was like 92 to '02, or like 90 to 2000 country, man. Give me some Alan Jackson and
All
Garth
day.
Brooks. Bro, like since then I don't know much of it. I really don't. Um, but dude, I'll listen to Alan Jackson today.
I,
Like
That's
I,
one of the few country singers, and I'm like, all right, you can put some Alan Jackson on, I'll be all right.
he's the reason why I wanted to buy when I was wanting to move out to Georgia was to buy something off the Chattahoochee because of Alan Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, dude, that dude is awesome, bro. So
I had a Alan
it,
Jackson cassette when I was a kid.
hell yeah. And that's kind of me and I mean, dude, we could go on and talk about like I'm a big Travis Tritt fan too, man. So Trouble, that's
Trouble.
oh yeah, man. Here's a quarter. Yo, that's the shit, bro. I'm telling you, Murph. Come chill with me, dog. I got you.
Nah, I'm okay. I mean, I will chill with you, but you put country on, I'm leaving. Fucking leaving. I was I hung out with this girl I've been talking to last night. I go over her place on her porch. She has speakers outside or whatever. She's playing music. Of fucking course. I live in West Virginia. It's country music that she's playing. Fucking Toby Keith. I love this bar. I'm like,
Yo, R.I.P. Right? I think he passed, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. Actually, I didn't know that until yesterday when her and I were
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, dude. He has this one song that talks about I'm not as good as I used to. I mean, banger, bro. Some Brooks and Dunn. Yeah, we can keep going, man.
Feels so basic, though. It feels so like there's no substance behind it.
No, but that one American song he has is an anthem, dude. Brought to you courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Come on now. It's overplayed, but it's a banger.
It's a banger, dog. But then, I can switch it up. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go into look. I'm a big Paul Wall fan. Like, a lot of people sleep on Paul Wall, bro. Like, that dude was the shit. I was a big Paul Wall fan, bro. So he dropped a joint with OT Mexican, I think it is his name, the Johnny Dang joint. Banger, bro. Yeah, just need to peep it out, man. So
Listen, early Paul Wall I was on, I fell off. So I don't know how he's doing these days, but respect because that's like Atlanta rap, right?
no, that's Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, it's Texas, bro. That's Swisha House and all them cats. That's where he's from, man. So yeah,
Y'all,
bro.
Who's Mr. Worldwide? Is that Paul Wall?
That's Pitbull.
Pitbull, that's who it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, I can never get that out of my head. Yeah.
So I go old school Pitbull, man. Like when Pitbull had braids and when he was first coming out, and he was a battle rapper, and that cat was killing dudes, bro, killing dudes. Now he's Mr. Worldwide, and I can't knock his hustle.
Yeah.
do you guys?
So
What's that? Stands? Oh yeah, for sure. But also like the independent game, NF for sure. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Tom McDonald. Very good. Very polarizing, and he incites some hate. He's like the old school Eminem where he says shit just to get a rise out of people. But good, good rapper. If you haven't heard of him, check him out if you're watching this. YouTube, like millions of followers.
You see what Scott just said? You guys talking about dogs? Oh, man.
Pitbull, baby.
Yeah, 305, baby. Uncle Luke, let's go. Oh man, but hey, this was awesome, man. I had to get on here when you guys were talking in regards to that, man. I'll say it again, man. I really was trying not to get hyped up for the season itself, but I can't help it, man. It's the season 0-0 for me, and I have faith. You know, I got faith in Aaron Glenn, got faith in the coaching staff that he's putting, and I really, really, truly loved the take in regards to it's on more on Tanner than it is on Fields. And it's the truth, because if we're supposedly drafting our quarterback of the future and this gives us a glimpse of what the offense can be, then that's kind of the reason you're looking at Tanner, in my eyes at least. So with that being said, man, I need to smash the like, hit the sub. Dano, Murph, always a pleasure, brother. Like this is beyond my my bedtime. My ass is in bed by like 8:00, 8:30, but my wifey passed out a little bit early. So
Hey, you put in work tonight, man. You put in a bunch of content, so be proud, man. Go
hell
to
yeah.
sleep with your. I think from the sounds of it, Murph, you dodged a bullet. You're good.
Yeah.
No, hey, no, that's there. There are many regional differences too, and a lot of them you don't even think about. In addition, like if you're watching this, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Just moved from one side of the country to another. A lot of different things, a lot of different language differences. Some words are worse in one spot, better in another, vice versa. Different plants, different foliage, of course, but like also different vibes, and different like culture. Like there's more diversity where I'm at now than there was before. So definitely interesting. But if you're watching, no matter where you are, spike the like and hit subscribe. We hopefully don't judge us on the last hour and a half. Judge us on the first hour and a half, please.
Yeah, no
You know,
doubt. No doubt.
I wish like at a certain point in the show, like I can take out scissors and like cut a ribbon and like that's the public show, and then the rest of it just bleeds into like a private, just a BS show.
Yeah.
Um,
Out
but it
session.
doesn't. But if you stop, it's over, and you gotta. It's stupid. But Chris is the man.
Appreciate you, Chris. Oh shoot. Yeah. Um I know that when I go and listen, like if I end up like listening to the show later on after it's over or something like that, I'm like, man, I really sound like a hick. I don't notice it. I feel like I speak eloquently, and in reality, I sound like, three banjos having dual sessions or whatever. But
I don't. I don't. That might be the take that I most strongly disagree with all night, Murph. But then again, like I'm the wrong one to ask. Not because of how I talk, but just because what my ear is used to, and when I listen to it back, and that's probably what you're hearing. I cringe at my own voice when I hear it back. It's so difficult for me to clip myself into shorts or even just listen to it. Sometimes some takes I sound worse than others, but then when someone else hears it, it's not as bad. Like it's like you hearing yourself on the phone kind of thing. It's like a
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's always been like that. Back in the day, I tried to be a rapper at one point. I don't know if I was never like serious about it. Like I really want to be like a famous rapper, but like I did used to record music and write songs and stuff like that. And it took me so long to get used to like hearing my own voice. I hated it. I couldn't. Yeah. And other people would be like, "Hey, no, it sounds good. Like like you got a good voice for it or something." And I'm like, but yeah. And I still to this day, when I hear myself, I'm like, yeah, you kind of cringe.
That's a take that I guarantee you anyone who's ever recorded themselves and listened back to it can relate to.
You just sound so much different in your head than you do actually in person.
And I get jealous of the guys on the mic that like have this deep baritone voice.
Yeah.
It's like, there are people like that where it's just like, that guy is not listening to it back and thinking I sound like an idiot. He knows what he's got.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyways, I think we'll leave it here. We do have 12, ironically, still in YouTube, just lurking, I guess, because I just see a couple down there now, but maybe 9 of them fell asleep. Regardless, anything you want to add? I mean, we covered, it's June. We covered a wide array of topics. Is there anything maybe you would like to clarify about your takes earlier, or anything you want to cement home before we wrap fully?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I just feel like we're on the same, like we're as a team. Like I think that the Jets are, I don't know, we're probably going to win about the same amount of games as we did last year. I just hope that coaching makes it, like if we can get 7 or 8 because of our coaching being better, hell yeah, that'll show me something. But aside from that, like the team, I don't know that the talent is much better than it was last year. So yeah, that's really about it. Don't cancel me.
Let me ask you this, because for me, it's not even like, and I think probably for you too, it's not even the record. It's like the eye test and the feel of games. But like, you have two options, and I'm just hypothesizing. You get 10 wins, but like, it was mainly on players making key plays at the right time, like not replicatable, success. But it's 10 wins, you clinch. I'm not going past that. You just clinch. You get a playoff berth. Or you only get 6. But like, the coaching got the 6. And like, the placement of the players, the play calling got the 6. You still lost 11, but the 6 you did were something you could build from. 6 versus 10 is a big difference. So I feel like it does make it a question. It's big enough, to where you might have to think about it. Are you thinking about it, or do you know what you would want or would prefer?
The thing is you have to take in a lot of things into consideration. If you still have another losing season, then that's these players dealing with another season lost, like another season of losses. Um, and no matter how good it looked, those players still know that they didn't do enough and they lost. That's not good for morale. It's not good for confidence. Whereas if you make the playoffs, even if you lost in the first round, it's like, hey, we're there. Like we're in the mix. So I kind of lean towards like, hey, let's win that 10 games and get us a playoff berth. We've tried building off of like being like in games or being feisty or all these players look like they're going to break out and things like that. And then it's like, does it ever really work out? Just get me in the playoffs.
You swayed me on that, actually. I mean, you started out with that's a great way to angle it, is like, these players have been depressed for a few years already.
I'm
they
just
had
thinking
they
Garrett Wilson really bad right now. That's the one guy. Yeah,
the
all
fact
of them.
that they're still to bat for us as well as they are, as publicly as they are. They could just lay low and have their agent still negotiating this deal. But no, they're out in the public eye and saying, I want to be here and all this shit. I don't know if dude, we just went through what they went through. Not exactly, but they were in it and we were just watching it. And a lot of us were like, fuck it, I'd be out of here if I had the chance. And yet they're in it, feeling it, and they're the opposite. I think it does lend itself to the idea of like, Saleh did keep that semi together more than we gave him credit for, more than we wanted to believe, I feel like, because they won 19 games in 3 years. And there wasn't many instances of players like just over it or quitting on it or wanting out. You know, they might have got some penalties and playing time undeserving or deserving, but like I'm talking public spats, dragging feet, tantrums. Like there were successful teams out there that had players throwing tantrums, and we won 19 games in 3 years with almost zero. I'd have to think about it, but fairly close to zero tantrums. So you got to figure that team built character, but also like another 6-win season, just like you said, might be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, with some of the players, it could be. It definitely could be. I do agree that I think that was something like the players did respect Salah, you know. So, I mean, it's not enough to win you the games and get you in the playoffs, but it's at least like that's something that you want all your coaches to have is like the players' respect and you know the fact that they want to, for the most part, act right and under that coach's regime or whatever. But something you could say that a lot of that could be Joe Douglas just bringing the right guys in, guys that are just high character guys that don't act out that way. But it's hard to say whose fault it is or if it's a little bit of both. I just hope that this regime is the same way. You know, the players are even in turbulent times they're still acting right and they're still doing the right things and you know but like yeah it's like we were just talking about you know another losing season like these core players are going to be sick of this shit at some point.
Well, I think that's a strong final minute. We just we pulled one more take out of us for the people. However, it's now 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Murph, let's wrap. Good show, brother. Without further ado, man, hey, spike that like. Thanks for kicking it in the Danger Zone live Friday nights at 9 with Murph. Sup, baby, Murph? Murph, what's up, baby?
I'm going to clip that.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. JTS, Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride.